side. Do you see your own? Let's flow now with all those pretty little things you buy and all those frowns and says as you live. Wake up to the sound of silence. Be still and know that I am here. Take my hand, I will hold you. I will wait for your tears. My grace is sufficient for you. My love will wash away the past. Lay your burdens on the shoulders. The trials will pass. Be still and know. Walking down the road, all alone, turn away from home. Why do you, dear, insist on trying to do things on your own? When you're crying and screaming that it's all gone away, that you've been put to shame. When will you, dear, open your eyes? The words I have, I will be here with you, with you, with you, with you. Wake up to the sound of silence. Be still and know that I am here. Take my hand, I will hold you. Wipe away all your tears. My grace is sufficient for you. My love will wash away the past. Lay your burdens on the shoulders. Know the trials will pass. Be still and know. Feel not, feel that I am with you. Be not afraid. Feel not, feel that I am with you. Be not afraid. Wake up to the sound of silence. Be still and know that I am here. Take my hand, I will hold you. Wipe away all your tears. My grace is sufficient for you. My love will wash away the past. Lay your burdens on my shoulder. Know the trials will pass. Be still and know. souls. But when you look inside, do you see your own? Let's flow now with all those pretty little things you buy and all those frowns and sighs different. Wake up to the sound of silence. Be still and know that I am here. Take my hand, I will hold you. I will wait for your tears. My grace is sufficient for you. My love will wash away the past. Lay your burdens on your shoulders. No trials will pass. Be still and know. Walking down the road, all alone, turned away from home. Why do you, dear, insist on trying to do things on your own? When you're crying and screaming that it's all gone away, that you've been put to shame. When will you deal with pain in your eyes or words I have? I will be here with you, with you, with you, with you. Wake up to the sound of silence. Be still and know that I am here. Take my hand, I will hold you. Wipe away all your tears. My grace is sufficient for you. My love will wash away the past. Lay your burdens on your shoulders. Know the trials will pass. Be still and know. Feel not, feel that I am with you. Be not afraid. Feel not, feel that I am with you. Be not afraid. Wake up to the sound of silence. Be still and know that I am here. Take my hand, I will hold you. Wipe away all your tears. My grace is sufficient for you. My love will wash away the past. Lay your burdens on my shoulder. No trials will pass. Be still and know.
Well, that was a good intro.
I like it.
So here we are, folks. Here we are finally after what, 2 months of planning and questions and emails and pictures. And oh my God, it was like, let's get the show started.
Right? But definitely going to be well worth it. Definitely going to be well worth it.
Yes, definitely.
What's up, everybody? How we all doing today?
So let me.
Let's see.
So basically what we're going to be doing today, obviously everybody knows that we're going to be having these guests on the show today. And what we're going to be doing, if you don't know, we are going to be bringing up these guests individually. And they're going to be coming up every 10 minutes, and we're going to ask them some questions, and you will get to know them. And you will see in the description below that if you want, you can hit that link that I provided in the description, and you can go follow them or whatever you want to do. So you know, honestly, can I just say a little brief story?
Yeah, by all means.
I'm going to say a little bit of a brief story here. So last night, I went to bed, and for some reason, all night, I was having this like nightmare of not being able to log into Melon to start the stream to get the show going today. and I kept on waking up, and it was like I don't know why I was dreaming all night about this. It's really, really super weird. But yeah, so just a small little thing before we get started here. The reason this all started, and we're having the group on today, To The Bone Paranormal. They were on a show called Through the Lens. And they were talking about their trials and tribulations of being in the industry and what they've gone through. So this is what really got the show started. And so I came to Matt and said, do you want to do this show? He said, sure, no problem. Well, if I knew then what I knew now.
But it's definitely worth it. Definitely going to be worth it, guys. But
yeah.
But yeah, the 2.5 hour meetings, the constant back and forth, the up in the air. I mean, the questions that we have laid out, everything, and it's going to be worth it. But
it's a lot of work. But you know, it's funny. It's funny. Remember when we did a live a couple of weeks ago, and I said if it got to 100 shares, or you said if it got to 100 shares, we would do this on a yearly basis. I said, well, let's push it to 150. I think, what did it get to? 147, 148?
I think it's close. I think it's like 148. Now, I'm sure most of that is through our local like channels and groups, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine. I appreciate all the support. I know you do too. But man, the reaction that this is getting, it makes me even more excited.
It's just it's been wonderful that everybody shared it out. Maria Schmidt, that video that I put up, she created that video, so I wanted to show that. She's going to be on the show today, so I thought that was really good too. She went out of her way and put that together, and I thought that was amazing, and I wanted to showcase that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's an amazing video. And, you know, we've had a lot of support from the community and even some that even aren't in our community. And it's amazing. You guys are outstanding. And it makes, like I said, it makes all the hard work and the headaches and the long meetings worth every second.
Yep, it does. It definitely does. And I want to thank everybody for that. So we are going to bring up our first guest. And how do I do this? Do I say the name or do I just bring her up? And
let's have a little bit of suspense. Why don't we hit the bullet points and see if people can guess real quick, and then just bring her on.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
So the bullet points for this particular woman, she's amazing. I know her. A lot of people out there know her. And she is the CEO of Parapost. She is the founder of US Texas Paracon. She's a co-owner and founder of Strange Goat Media. She's a motivational speaker, lead investigator of Ghost Hunter Girls, author, Reiki master. She has multiple doctorates. She's a yoga practitioner. And last but not least, she's also a mom.
Very important. Very important. That's the key, right? That's the main.
Yeah. So let's bring her up now. Everybody, this is Natalie Jones. There she is.
Hi.
Hello. Hello. Welcome.
Welcome. And thank you for coming on today's show and being our very first guest. And I think sometimes it's weird that if you're the first guest or the last guest. So there's a lot of accomplishments I said there, but on top of that, there's a lot more. And I could have gone on for a lot longer. But it's only a 2-hour show. So, but go ahead, Matt. Why don't we start with our first question and proceed with the show?
So the first question we have, Natalie, is how did you get started in the paranormal field?
Oh, the $1 million question.
Always.
Well, first, I would just like to say thank you so much for having me today. It's like, this is amazing. It's such a great experience. And how did I get here?
Yeah.
But Bryan-jon, I do not have any doctorates, though.
Oh, I thought we did say we thought we read that. My apologies, but you have multiple degrees in different things.
Yeah. Well, yes. No, I do have a bachelor's. I think where you got that was I'm currently in the doctoral program at University of Sedona for metaphysics. Yeah. So it's we lost him.
We lost Matt.
So,
I don't know what happened.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
And you're on
today.
black screen right now. You're on black screen right now. I can only see your black screen. Well, continue, Natalie. Continue.
Interesting. It's already we're already in some activity. Yeah, I don't know what happened too. We lost him.
Yeah, we got him back.
There he is.
There's always an issue. There's always one issue.
Told you.
There you go. You're back now.
I'm here.
Yeah,
now
well,
I'm here.
Again, where'd we go?
Uh-oh.
Can you see us, Natalie?
I can.
Okay, good. Okay. So like Matt said,
I think we're good.
Yeah, we're good. Go ahead.
Thank you again for having me. This is really amazing. I'm really excited to be here. It's been a journey. And of course, the last couple of months, we've really been looking forward to this as well. What got me started in the paranormal was an experience that I had around the age of 6. And it was one of the first memories that I had. It's a really big part of kind of, who I am. But what I've come to understand is that I had that experience because of, it's a direct indication and of what my life purpose and soul mission here is, in the work that I do. And so it's really come full circle. And, over the last 10 years or so, once, I've really come to understand things spiritually, and, on those lines of my life purpose and soul mission, and really embraced that. A lot of really amazing things have happened, and it's like the universe and God's source and everything that is a part of what I do everything's just unfolded very quickly. So it's pretty cool. I do go into the experience in my first book, Awaken the Higher Self, Bringing Darkness to Light. I am a paranormal navigator, paranormal investigator, author, lecturer, dark energy healing facilitator, Reiki master, and also a medium. So I'm very clairsentient. I can feel people. I know exactly just when I think of them, what they're feeling or going through. It's been really a very helpful gift on a lot of my residential cases. So yeah.
Wow. Wow. So, a question I wanted to ask you, not a lot of investigators study or understand Reiki. So what got you started on that path?
So over the last more so 10 years, in my pursuit of knowledge and understanding and everything metaphysical and more, and everything really is interconnected, and our universal consciousness and everything is energy. And so with that, we have a way to understand that there are a lot of unseen forces around us. And so with my Reiki, I really found that to be a part of something that really interested me, and so I pursued that, and that's really helpful with chakras and energy, and bringing that through for the sense of healing, even long distance. Yeah. So what it is it's light energy. It's as a Reiki master, it's something that's sacred because there's a lot that goes into it. But basically, what it is that you're calling upon the chi, the prana, the Reiki. Some people call that Holy Spirit, the light source, light energy, God source, and you ask that healing energy to go where it needs to go, and it's meant. There's a lot of intricacy in that with the chakras, our auric field, our meridians, and everything. But again, everything's energy, and so for me, as a paranormal navigator and these abilities and everything, I like to really be aware of what's going on, maybe with a person or any type of general dark influence that may be around them as well. Because what you have to understand is our mental, emotional, physical, spiritual bodies, they're all interconnected. And when one's off balance or there's blocks, then, sometimes it can just be a really simple process of identifying that, because the first step is identifying, understanding, recognizing it in order to find the solution. So,
Interesting. It's very, very interesting.
Yeah, those are my certifications right over here behind me. So it's level 3, and I do a lot of it, for myself, but also long distance. So if there's anyone that would be interested in, a long distance Reiki, I can do that, as well as give a blessing as well. I do blessings.
Well, that's very cool.
That's awesome. So
Yeah.
Brian mentioned in your bio that you are an author. I want, if you could you please tell us a little bit about your recent book, Awakening the Higher Self, Bringing Darkness to Light?
Yes, thank you. So Awaken the Higher Self, Bringing Darkness to Light is it's really a book about becoming a being of unconditional love, because, everything that we go through, I feel like if we are able to heal from within instead of looking for external sources to, bring peace or comfort or any of those other things, we're really able to, instead of putting a Band-Aid on something, we're able to find long-term success in that. And again, it's about the different types of energies around us. I go into depth about light energy and dark energy and everything. And, I kind of liken it to like a line. Anything below that line is lower vibrational energy. Anything above that line would be higher vibrational energy. And the lower vibrational energies, therefore dark in nature. It doesn't mean that it's evil or bad, but it is a part of the universal laws. And those higher vibrational energies, therefore, are more light energy and are therefore, positive in nature. And so when we can understand what's going on with us. We may even subconsciously have things that we aren't even aware of what's, that may be something that we still hold on to as a burden. And so part of the book is what I've termed burden regression therapy, by a process of it's self-therapy. And then also the universal laws. And I do go through a really nice self-chakra healing. There's a chapter on chakras and our meridians and our auric field and everything. So again, and I do go into the very first part of my book about that experience that I had and how it kind of ties into everything has catapulted me in this direction, because I truly have, I do know from talking to a lot of people that most people can pinpoint a childhood experience that though they may not have that, conscious awareness in that moment, it's really a direct indication of from where they are in life purpose and everything today. So I think it's just all really interesting. We have so much to learn and understand, and I love to keep an open mind, and that's why I do all these studies when I have time, because I just love to learn. I think that, having all of this knowledge that we can use as wisdom for the greater good and the collective is really where we're headed. And it's about awakening on a global scale. And that's what my book is really about. So it's just meant to understand that all the answers are not out there. The answers are already all within us. It's just about reconnecting to spirit and, opening that heart center and finding those things within us, that maybe those blocks, like I said, that maybe we didn't realize they were there, or that we have certain things around us that we can identify, and then having the knowledge to be able to address those things. So, and our thoughts are made of electric energy, our feelings of magnetic energy, and therefore we're constantly emitting information into the field, the consciousness field. We're creative beings. We're constantly creating. And so those electromagnetics, whatever those vibrational frequencies are made of, that's what we're going to, see manifest in our lives, people, places, and things. And sometimes it's good to just take a step back too, if you've gone through something that you would consider difficult or traumatic, and really like working through all of that in a really positive way, in the sense that, you're not making sure that you're not internalizing any of that, and instead growing from it and learning more and understanding others and having more compassion, and just learning to just be really kind. If we all just could just be super kind to one another, and have that grace and that compassion, I think that's what it's really all about. So yeah, that kind of sets the foundation. And I have a sequel coming out called The Little Secret Book of Life, which is now the big little secret book of life. My mom is co-author with me on the book, and I am like thrilled about this, because she's like my go-to, right? She's white witch, and she's incredible. She, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Yes. And Matt, you want to? So before we let you go, I would be remiss if we didn't get a chance to speak about this a little bit, about Paraflix. So if people are interested in Paraflix and want to join Paraflix, how do they do that? And what are the requirements of Paraflix to get on to Paraflix, I guess?
Well, Paraflix is the new streaming service dedicated to the paranormal, supernatural, universe, and beyond. We all are starting to really hear all the buzz about Paraflix, if you haven't already. And it's about making it global, because those that know about it are thrilled about it. It's all positive. It's exciting. Those of us that are a part of it, including you, Bryan-jon, with your incredible series, Huntaphobia. And we have a very future, and you know how excited all of these talks that we've had. So you can find Paraflix at paraflix.com, paraflix.com. It's only $3.99 a month. And if you subscribe for the entire year. It's only $29.99, which comes out to $250 a month. It's a really great deal. You get all access to all of the incredible content. We're adding new things every weekly. It's just really exciting. And this year we're going to be growing a lot of the genres like the cryptid and UFO, and of course the thriller. And I mean, you'll see a little true crime. So it's really exciting. Bryan-jon, I mean, isn't this exciting with Paraflix?
Yes, very, very. And I was talking to somebody last night about Paraflix, and they're interested in coming to Paraflix. And I basically told them you have to submit an application and a video, and you guys at the head of the company there take it, decide if they're going to come on or not, and that's it. And that's all I told him. And hopefully he will be submitting his video and his application, and maybe you guys will consider him. I won't say a name, and I'll keep that quiet, but I'm sure you get lots of submissions. But Natalie, I want to thank you so much for coming on today's show. Really, really appreciate it. I know being the first guest may be a little difficult at times, but at the end of the day, I'm just so happy you were able to do this today, and I really appreciate you coming on.
Likewise.
Thank you so much for having me, and I'm truly honored to be the first guest. So thank you.
Okay. Have a nice rest of the day, okay?
Bye, everyone.
Okay, bye.
All right, very good. Thank you.
Well, we went a little bit over time there, so why don't we bring on our next guest right away? And I will get into where is she? She was there. She is no longer there. I
Saw
don't know
her in
what
the
happened to her.
comments.
Yeah. Oh, here she is. So we're going to bring on our next guest now. And this is Maria Schmidt. Hi, Maria.
Hello.
Can you hear us, Maria?
Hi, how are ya? Good to see you. I'm sorry about the little glitch.
Yeah, that's okay.
I can.
Before we get started, I just want to talk about some of the bullet points with you and what you're doing in the industry. You are the founder of the National Ghost Hunting Day. You're also involved in the Haunted Journeys and the world's largest ghost hunt, and you're also the owner of Mysterious Adventure Tours. So those are some of the bullet points that Maria is doing in the industry, and I think everybody knows Maria from the world's largest ghost
You got
hunt.
it.
Yeah. So go ahead.
So speaking of the world's largest ghost hunt, Maria, it's obviously very popular in our community. But what we're wondering is, what was the main factor in starting the event?
Can she hear us?
I think she said there was a little delay.
Yeah.
I can't. I can't hear
Oh.
you.
Can you turn up the volume just a little bit?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear
Yep.
you. We can hear you. Can you hear us?
I can't hear you.
So what if I don't even know what to
Maybe the headphones.
maybe the headphones? Seems to be an issue. We had an issue with Natalie's picture, but she was able to talk. Maria, can you hear us now?
I can't hear you guys unless I put it up on my Facebook, and then it there's a awkwardness there.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
do you
do
want to
that,
put
do that,
on
do that.
the next guest and switch with me, and then someone can work with me in the back?
Okay, we can do that. We can
Is
do
that a
that.
good
We'll bring you back on. We'll bring you back on.
Thank you.
Okay. So let's hide her, and we'll bring on our next guest. Unfortunately, some glitches today. We apologize for that. So, folks, we are going to bring on our next guest, and our next guest are Bad to the Bone Paranormal, Angelina and Christina. There we go. And they're not there either. That
Long
was
time no see. Long time no see.
It was her idea.
Yeah, that was your idea. Of course it was. So let me just talk about a little bit of some bullet points with you girls. You started and founded your group in 2017. You've gotten multiple investigations under your belt. You were also for the first time last year involved in the world's largest ghost hunt. And let's be honest, we've seen you a lot on multiple podcasts recently. So you girls are all over the place. And I see that your Facebook group page is getting very, very popular. And like I said earlier to the audience, that if you are interested in following these girls, I've left a link for their Facebook group page in the link, or in the description, so you can go follow them. Okay, so why don't we get started? We seem to be having some issues today, so
ladies, Brian already stated you've been on multiple podcasts. I know you've been on mine, you've been on Through the Lens, but for everyone else out there that may have not got a chance to talk to you, what got you ladies into the paranormal field?
I got into the field through trespassing, which I don't recommend, at least in the state of Ohio. I didn't believe my friends when I were watching some stuff on YouTube, and they said, yeah, there's a haunted school down the street. Let's go. I checked it out, got some stuff on video, amazing, now that I think about it 5 years later, and told the owner, hey, I got something on camera. A month later, I moved into the school, and my paranormal journey started. So, yeah, trespassing for me.
For me, I've always been into the paranormal. I think I got more into it as a teenager when I seen my first shadow person, which was not nice to see, but I didn't really think about it too much. And then whenever I met her, I got into it a lot. So everything about it, and I just can't wait to see what the future holds.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
You know what? One thing I've always loved about you girls is you girls are just so funny, and you're always wonderful to talk to, and I enjoy everything you guys do. So why don't we get just to the next question? And what me and Matt are curious about, and I'm sure everybody else is also, what are your ambitions and goals for the team?
Oh, that's big. One, to grow our team by one more person. We've just added Danielle, who is an employee for Save the Old Properties, which is the most famous one. Everyone knows Randolph County Infirmary in Winchester, Indiana. Goal is to add another person, get everybody trained up, do a lot of book knowledge, take some courses, not to be experts, but just to better understand equipment, magnetic fields, all that stuff. Learn each other as a team, do a lot of trust walks, and scare the crap out of the girls.
Well, speaking of the future, what do you foresee being your biggest challenges that are ahead of you, and what steps are you taking to plan to overcome those challenges?
That's a good question, Christina.
So I've been afraid of the dark since I was a kid. I have meaning behind it, but that's something that I'm trying to work on. And the last place we went to, I tried to go in the freezer without a flashlight, but I just couldn't do it. So I'm going to try more this year to not use a flashlight.
I guess for myself, my challenges are going to be meeting with more teams, being more receptive to other teams, getting to know more teams, not so much challenging or being part of a challenge of I got the best evidence, or I'm, just staying out of the drama, which we do very well at, and just
Mhm.
building a team and getting ourselves known, not in a famous way, but in a way to where people can watch us and realize that there is life after death. And that's all we want people to know. That's all we care about. And being stronger as a team, and challenging myself to really scare the crap out of them this year. They're going to do things they've never experienced. OSR here in March, and they're going to learn about table tipping.
Oh, interesting. I've never tried that. I've always wondered about that and see what kind of result you get out of that. It's an interesting method, that's for sure. So just before we let you go, because obviously we're all over the place right now, and so what I wanted to know was, and obviously everybody else is going to find out too, but what I want to ask you is, what got you involved in the world's largest ghost hunt?
Wow. For me, it was persistence. When I first heard about it was 5 years ago when I started my team, and I didn't have a team. It was just me. I had people, but they weren't dedicated. And I kept applying, and finally this year I got someone on the team, and I said I'm going to go for it. It was just something I wanted to do, to be part of, one, because it's worldwide, and two, because I loved watching the other participants from all over the world. It's interesting to see how they investigate differently in Spain, or how they investigate out in jungles, or even like it's fascinating to see the different techniques and different ways. And I learned so much from being part of the world's largest ghost hunt. I learned so much, and we met so many people from all over the world.
Yeah, it was. I watched the event. It was great. And you're right, there were people from all over the world, and you got to see different groups and how they investigate and what they do. And it was just an amazing night. And it was definitely something I thought about being involved in, but we'll see what happens with that. But I want to say thank you for coming on today's show. I know we've been kind of all over the place because of some video and audio issues, but again, anybody in the room, if you want to go follow them, their link is in the description below, and just click on the link and give them a follow and say hi, and because they're great girls, and
Absolutely.
I really appreciate you coming on the show today.
Thanks, guys. We
Thank
appreciate you, and thank you for supporting us so much.
Thank you.
Hi, Maria.
No
Bye.
So let's try, before we bring up our next scheduled guest, let's bring up Maria again and see if we got the issue fixed.
Hoping.
Can you hear us now?
I can, and I'm telling
Yes.
you, after I do 125 live streams around the world in a single day span, I need to tackle this. So, so I guess it doesn't work when I come on. So thank you for having me on. Thank you.
You're
for the
very
patience.
welcome.
Yes.
And
No problem.
as when you came on the first time, I mentioned, the
World's
world's
Largest
largest ghost hunt, National Ghost Hunting Day,
Yeah.
Mysterious Adventure Tours, which is your company.
Right.
And so you just got a lot going on right now, and it's great. And
It is, but it's all kind of interrelated, interface into one umbrella, which is basically looking for the unknowns all over internationally, supporting the field, supporting these historical, beautiful places through preservation efforts, and bringing in and lifting up tourism opportunities in these special places. So, and then giving a lot of acknowledgement to the stakeholders that are involved in everything I do. There's a lot of stakeholders. So obviously the ghost hunting paranormal teams that strive every day. They don't do it for money. They don't do it for glory. They do it because they want to elevate the field and bring the unknown to its face. And I do it for the haunted locations as well, because they need the help. They need to be discovered. They've been through 2 years of just anemic, funding for them. So they're going through really hard times right now. So, and I also do it for the field. So to take away any kind of misconceptions of how awful it is, how gory it is. We're not, we're folks that are really working together, blood, sweat, and tears to make a meaning of the other side. What is the other side, and should I be afraid of it? And so we have a lot of folks that don't agree with what we do for some whatever reason, and I want to take those fears or false impressions away through what I do and make it part of the mystery of life.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Maria, we talked several times already on the show about the world's largest ghost hunt. It's very, very popular. Everyone seems to love it. But we were wondering, what was your main reason for starting it? What was that motivation?
It was actually because I started with hauntedjourneys.com, which is my first website. And I was a property owner. I had a location in Ocala, Florida, beautiful inn, the Seven Sisters Inn. I had experiences there every single day. But I was enduring a lot of the issues and problems of survival that a lot of my peers have done at that time. People, whatever, they had resistance about exploring the haunted, or they were in competition with the big box hotels like the Hiltons and the Marriotts. And so their survival in the United States is very bleak. Whereas in the United Kingdom, their survival is much more appreciated because people tend to go to these smaller inns as opposed to the larger, lavish, sterile properties, as I mentioned. So that was my inspiration, is to do that. But I didn't want to do it alone. I wanted partners with this. I wanted stakeholders with me, because one person cannot do anything, but many of us with the same goals can. And it went from one thing to another. So that's basically why I did it, was for the survival of all these beautiful locations around the world, and to give out the right message about what the field does. We're not about chasing devils and demons, or whatever. We're about. We have a mod. We have a saying with Haunted Journeys, which is a haunting is history wishing to be heard. And that was a core impetus of what we did. We wanted to speak of history, don't forget them, bring it back to life, and then support those properties that they are trying to sustain themselves.
100%.
Yeah.
And that's amazing. And I think that has a lot to do with Paraunity that Matt talks about so much on his shows.
Yes.
And it's just a wonderful thing. And I think the world's largest ghost hunt is just a wonderful way to get paranormal groups together.
Yeah.
And
100%.
sharing their experiences with other people that are watching.
Yeah, it's also a litmus test. You have no idea how many, and we talk about one of the most destructive things that we have in our industry is egos. Egos that are into the paranormal or into helping others for their own purpose, not for the purpose of what what stood for. So many times we would have, teams that did not really believe in paraunity, and they don't survive well in our culture because everybody, and you have a lot of them here represented in this in this broadcast, and I appreciate that. They all helped each other. They all did this together. It wasn't about me or you, it was about us. And the same mantra that I said before, that I can't do something alone. I need others with the same mission and the same purpose to help me. And our voices are a lot stronger, and our voices can be heard a lot more from spirit when we're togetger. And that's the whole purpose of
100%.
the collective consciousness we created. Yeah.
100%.
So what so the question I want to ask you is about mystery tours.
Yes. Oh.
Can you tell us? Can you tell us a little bit about mystery tours
It
and what
all
it's all about?
It all came from actually the world's largest ghost hunt. I met such incredible people around the world, and Back to the Bone Girl said, it's amazing what they do in Spain, what they do in the UK, what they do in Australia. And the differences in investigation is so unique and so culturally influenced that I wanted to bring that out in an opportunity for us to exchange and visit these places. And I noticed that there's a lot of the tours that are out there. They're beautiful tours of Ireland and Wales and England and, Romania. But rarely did they hit on the spots that I wanted to hit on, which is
Okay.
the supernatural. So all of our tours with Mysterious Adventure Tours are all focused and niched in the field of the supernatural, whether it's the haunted, whether it's a metaphysical interaction, whether it is the ufology,
Mm.
or even to the point of fantasy tours. We bring those to life. And I am blessed because I do know a lot of these folks out there. So I know I can present a product that's very pure for 9 days. We join us, and some of the ambassadors of friends that I've met along the path that I respect, and people that I love to spend 9 days with,
Mm.
in Ireland. So I'm thinking, well, if I like it, they'll like it too. So that was the birth of Mysterious Adventure Tours, and it's going really, really well, even with the pandemic, because we are strong people. We don't let a little tiny virus get in our way. So it's doing well.
Those are the people in the States. The people in Canada are completely different.
Oh my God, what happened up there? Yeah,
Oh
Brian,
Lord.
I
Oh
mean,
Lord.
for God's sake, you gotta do
We're
something in Canada
we're
and
going in. I think
Australia
what
too, a
is
little bit.
yeah. What I think we're going into our fourth or fifth lockdown. It's like
That is so crazy.
it's crazy. It
Yeah.
really
Now
is.
I've got I'm a nurse too by trade, so I've got a lot of interest in the clinical aspect of the pandemic. So I do a lot of research because obviously it influences what I do for a living. And I'm hearing that in the break of spring, this nasty little Omicron will be out
Mm,
of the way. And that
mm,
Hmm.
being said, a lot of folks have been inflicted with the Omicron. Thank God it's not something that has hurt people as
mm.
massively as a Delta has. But what it has done is given us an extra layer of natural immunization. So I'm ecstatic, sort of, that it happened, and that it's going to go away very quickly. So we're thinking
Yes. Well,
Canada,
let's
Canada,
let's hope.
it'll be
Let's
done
hope.
by the spring.
Oh
And if
God.
you guys don't get on it, you're not going to get the tourism that you deserve, the
Yeah, I
attention we
know, and
deserve.
like I don't know what's going on with our prime minister and our premier, but they don't seem to be working well together,
Yes.
and they have
Yeah.
different opinions on what should be done, and
See,
that is the biggest problem right
and
there.
then
But
when politics get involved with good
yeah,
decision making, with vitality of the country and its healthcare focus, it can
yeah,
be a little bit uh,
yeah, yeah,
dangerous. I do
yeah,
want to say, and I know I'm limited with time, but I want to
yeah.
say something about what you're doing in celebration of what you're doing today. And people don't realize the impact of women in our field.
Mm,
And I say this because I do have a lot of experience. I'm not a paranormal investigator. Well, I
mm,
like to tinkle with it, but I
mm.
represent the field, right?
Yes.
And a lot of the people I deal with are women. And we have to understand that the talents of women in our field have risen the whole industry to a new level that has to be appreciated more and more. And shows like yours are doing that.
Mm.
And I don't know if I look at analytics because I love numbers. So
Okay.
I look at analytics, and did you realize that 62% of paranormal enthusiasts and those involved on the very grassroots level of the paranormal are women? And that's amazing. Why are we not crafting programming and promotions, all that around women? And I think that's extremely important and a ball that we're missing. You know, women are highly intuitive. They have a passion for details, which is absolutely necessary in our field because sometimes we miss the boat on that. And they respond very well to the communication of spirit. They say that mediums tend to, for the most part, tend to be women. There are men. There's no doubt about that. But they're women because, again, we have that extra intuition. Call it the seventh sense. I call it the female sense. Ladies, if you agree with me, go ahead and put that on the comments and share it because we need to tell the world.
Yes,
about
definitely.
The importance of the women.
100%.
Yes.
100%.
Thank you for doing this.
You know what? Thank you. I really appreciate you coming back on because I know we had a few little audio issues, and I just enjoyed listening to everything you said, and I really appreciate you coming on the show today. And I hope you continue doing wonderful things in the field. And again, people, you can her link is in the description for her group page. So if you want to go over and subscribe or follow her her Facebook, there it is. And
I'll introduce you to the world of spooks. So, so thank you for having me on. God bless you all.
Okay, thank you. Let me just there we go there. So we're a little behind. We are a little behind, but that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. So we are going to bring up our next guest. And I'm excited about this one. I'm excited about all of them, but I definitely look forward to speaking to Satori Hawes.
Hello.
How are you?
Hello.
Good. How are you?
I'm great. Sorry for the delay, but we had a few little audio and video issues, and hopefully we'll catch up. Hopefully we'll catch up. I'm not sure how we're going to catch up, but we're going to catch up.
We'll do it.
Yeah. So what I want, I'm just going to say a few bullet points about yourself. And you're obviously the daughter of Jason Hawes from Ghost Hunters. And you are also part owner of the Paranormal Couple. And the Paranormal Couple have a haunted museum. And I do. Yeah, I believe it's called Objects, Oddities, and Curiosities. And you also do some cameos on Ghost Hunters, which I will say I saw you last week on Ghost Hunters Saturday night. And I am going to. Yes, I did. And there's one question I want to ask you before we get into the other questions. I was very intrigued by the method that you and Cody do by holding hands. How did that get started?
So that started, it was actually something we had kept a secret for 3 years since August of 2018. The first day I had met him, we did an investigation together. That is how we met. We were both on TAPS, the Atlantic Paranormal Society. So we met, we went into an event. I brushed up against his shoulder. We didn't really know each other then, and it sounded like footsteps just exploded in this building that we were doing this event in. And at first we thought, wow, this is just an amazing location, because every time we were going back and something would happen, we said, you know, this is really strange that it's working. But once we realized we were very, we're not very quick to things, to assume things, so we didn't realize this. Then we go to a couple other locations and it's happening there. So we started realizing, hey, it's when we touch, for some reason, it's like a battery reaction. We're getting some activity. So why don't we try, you know, like I hold your hand or your arm or something and we say, can you stomp once for yes, 2 for no? And it worked at this location. We had to stay up for 24 hours straight during an overnight when we figured out that this is how this works. And we were actually getting responses. We pretty much know that it's just something we have to help people. It's not something we're making money off of. That's not the point. The only reason we have this is to help people. We realized after a while we could use the alphabet, kind of like this human, I don't know what you would call it. It's like some people make jokes and call us a Ouija board because we're able to spell things out. But we have conversations with the other side and we get the messages to those that need it. So that's all it's about.
You know what
That's
I will
amazing.
say? Yeah, I will say when I watched the episode last Saturday, and you guys were doing the method, you guys were getting in. And if people haven't seen this particular episode, you have to watch it because it's really, really cool. And you guys were getting some amazing responses with doing this method. And I thought it was just so cool. And I'm going to say this, and if your father is watching, I'm not sure if he's going to see this, but I will say, I'm going to say this, and no insult to him or anybody else on the team, but you guys got the most activity on that episode.
Thank you so much. I'll call him up after this and say that you said that.
I want him to like me, not to dislike me. But, but at the end of the day, you guys spelt out the name, and then finding out later in the show, you guys have to go see this episode. It was incredible. I thought it was amazing. But anyways, go ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you.
So, Satori, speaking of your dad and your family, I think that a lot of people don't get a chance to ask you this. So we wanted to hit this first and foremost. What was it like growing up in a family that is just so dedicated to the paranormal field?
Well, so TAPS, the Atlantic Paranormal Society, my dad had found about 10 years before I was even born. So it was something that my family was already kind of doing before I was even a thought. It was normal for me. I guess a lot of people don't expect to hear this, but it was actually very normal for me because I thought of it just as any other family thinks of, oh, my parents are firefighters, doctors, and things like that. Mine were ghost hunters. That was just what we did. So it did kind of draw some weird looks at career day and, show and tell and things like that because it was just so normal to me. I just saw my dad going to work every day and helping people. So I realized that that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to do exactly what my dad was doing. And ever since I was able to walk, I was holding a flashlight trying to investigate my own house. So it's something that definitely ran in the blood. Normal for me, weird for other people, I guess.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah, that's great. And I wish there was more people in my family that like the paranormal.
Same.
It's all good. It's only me. It's all good.
It's me and my wife, but
what the question I would love to ask you is, you have this haunted museum.
Yes.
What was the motivation of starting the museum, and what would be your what would you say if other people wanted to do the same thing that you're doing?
What would I say to other people?
Yes, what would you say to other people if they wanted to start it as well?
The museum had started, actually, Cody had a collection before we had even met, a small one. Some of the first haunted object we actually have in our museum was a painting that was passed down from his family from Italy. And it's a very old painting of Jesus. And it's a beautiful painting, and it was said that the males in his family, his grandparents, for a couple generations, all consistently claimed that this painting came to life and talked to them towards the end of their life and told them that it was going to be okay. There's nothing to worry about. You're going to pass away peacefully, and then they did. So this painting was kind of passed down, and this is the first object we do have in our collection. Thankfully, it has not talked to Cody yet. I tell him not to look at it all the time, but that was the first object. And then, certain cases, people were saying, hey, I have these objects and I feel that something is attached to them. It's making me very uncomfortable. So what we decided to do was be what we call a foster home for paranormal objects. We won't take them from you forever. We don't say this is ours now. We need to keep this demon away from you. We don't really believe in that. We believe 99% of the objects in our museum, if they do have an attachment, are just people that love them. And we always allowed the owner that gave it to us to have their object back. We're just kind of holding on to it for them until they feel comfortable to figure out how to coexist with these objects. What would I tell somebody that has a collection or a museum? First and foremost, I support it 100%. If you're doing it for the right reasons and you're helping people, I don't care if 1 million people have haunted collections or museums. That's great. That just brings us close together. Definitely know what you're getting yourself into, because we do have objects that are supposedly catch on fire, that you look at them, you're supposed to die or see yourself dying. So definitely know what you're getting yourself into, because it's never a dull day in the museum. I'm sitting here right now and I'm already hearing noises around me. The other day, a couple weeks ago, a battery flew across the room at us. So definitely know what you're getting yourself into, but keep it up. You're on a good track.
No, I will say I'm a little disappointed that Cody came and said hi. I thought he was going to be doing a dance for us.
Yeah, I saw the cameo.
Don't encourage him.
Well, definitely we appreciate your time, because we know you're busy, and we're definitely honored to have you and everybody.
Thank you.
But I mean, we just want to individually say that we do appreciate your time.
Well, I want to say thank you for doing this. As soon as I got the call and I heard that you guys wanted to kind of, push women up in the field and show support to them, I was on top of that 100%, because there's not enough of that. So thank you guys for really trying to create para-unity.
Yeah. So
100%.
am I still your BFF?
You're still my friend. You did good.
Okay, that was a little put me down. No,
you did good. You did great.
But I want to say my thank you, thank yous for coming on the show, and I look forward to seeing more of your stuff. And maybe one day, if I'm up in the States somewhere, I'll be able to see your haunted museum. So
of course, we'll be waiting.
I would love to see it. But again, thank you again for coming on today's show.
Thank you.
And taking time out of your very, very busy schedule, because I know you're quite busy. So thank you again.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Okay. Wow. You know what? Just before we get to the next guest, I just say she just seems like a really, really just very friendly person. That's
very down to earth.
Yeah, very down to earth. That's a great word for it. And when she said she wanted to come on the show, when I spoke to her on the phone, it was like, really? Wow, that's wonderful. And I was really, really happy that she came on today's show. And we're starting to catch up a little bit.
Yeah, I'll be honest. When you said her name, I was like, no, you're messing with me. I was waiting for. I'm like, come on, what's the actual name?
Now, obviously, people, we've had some hiccups today with the first few guests, but that, you know what, that happens.
It happens.
They got their point across. We were able to bring them on, and they were able to talk and stuff like that. And so we're kind of a little bit behind, and that's fine. We expected it, and so what we're going to do now is we're going to bring up our next guest, and that is Jenn Jacobs. There she is.
Hi, guys.
Can you see us and hear us?
Yes, I can.
Great. So before we get started, I want to get into the bullet points of what you've done in the paranormal field and what you're continue doing. So let me just put this up here. So you've been in the industry for about 10 years.
Right.
You started you were with your first team, and you were the director till 2013.
Right.
You started your own group called Eclipse Paranormal.
It was originally BSR Paranormal, and we decided to go a different direction.
Okay. You also, and what I find intriguing, and what we're going to ask you about today, is you are the founder of the Para Retreats. You also help within the world's largest ghost hunt, and you are also involved in mysterious adventure tours with Maria Schmidt. And also, you've appeared on many podcasts through whatever avenue those podcasts have been, like YouTube and Facebook and all those wonderful places. So you've done quite a bit yourself. You've been quite busy as well.
And I have 3 kids and work 2 jobs.
Very busy. Well,
Very
Jen,
busy.
let's just start off with the basic question. What got you into the
All
field?
right. When I was 4 years old, I looked out my parents' bedroom window and there was this little, I was 4, so bear with me. It looked like a little tree staring in my mom's bedroom window, smiling. And my grandparents' house growing up, they're upstairs. It just felt horrible. And my aunt her bedroom was upstairs, and she told me, she goes, imagine having to sleep up there every night knowing something's up there. So that's what got me started. A little elemental, and then whatever lives at my grandparents' old house.
I think a lot of stories start out that way, right? When we first get into a lot of people get in the field, they start out with seeing something as a child and experience something as a child. So I mentioned this in the bullet points of what you've been doing. What was your motivation for starting Para Retreat?
The Women's Para Retreat features women of all fields of the paranormal, not just ghost hunting, but I also run the Indiana chapter of the North American Dogman Project.
Okay.
So I get both sides of it, the ghost hunting and the cryptid side. I enjoy both of those. So I was like, why not have women from all fields come together as a group? And I've had a lot of women say they don't like investigating with men all the time. And I know you mentioned that women have a lot more intuition. I think Maria said that as well. And it's true. And when the ladies get together, it explodes. I have a friend that we were sitting at my daughter's softball game one day, and I started getting emails from, just randomly got an email from a guy, and you could see a face in his woods. And I laughed. I said, anytime I'm around you, something paranormal happens. And it blows up when women are together. Like my daughter will ghost hunt with me. She's 14. She's seen stuff since she was 3. And we get a lot of activity. She went to Waverly and just did the 2-hour historic tour. She was getting touched. And in the morgue, she heard, help me. And
wow.
That night was amazing when all of us ladies went back together. And I had been around guys the last time, and it really didn't happen.
Okay.
Not exactly that, but didn't mean it like that. But women's intuition, I think our instincts are more. Some women, and this is another thing, some women don't feel safe around men. Something might have happened in their life. They could have got out of a domestic violence situation. This is a place for women to come together, to support each other, to learn from one another. And for the Women's Para Retreat, it's women speakers, women-owned businesses, women vendors. Everyone's welcome to come. But when it goes to the investigation time, it's just us girls.
That's awesome.
So how do women get involved if they want to be involved?
Currently, I am taking applications for speakers, workshop hosts. I've got a couple I've already posted, the Connor Sisters and Sisterhood of Magic and Wonder. They're involved in that as well. Pam Berry, who owns the Hoover House in Gettysburg, she is going to come speak. And I've got some other girls that are interested. And like I said, you can go to, it's on Facebook, Second Annual Women's Para Retreat Weekend and Conference, or do the @ at Women's Retreat. And it should pop up on Facebook. It's also on my website, eclipseparanormal.com. And I just purchased yesterday a website for the women. It'll be women's.para-retreat.com. And I'm trying to get that set up right now. And GoDaddy is really super slow today. So that should be up by the end of the weekend.
I'm starting to wonder if everything's really slow today because because of what happened at the beginning, because it was just strange. Of course, I think anytime you talk about the paranormal on a talk show, something weird happens.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell a little secret on Maria. She has issues with broadcasting with her friends all the time.
You should see my shows. I always have some sort of issue.
Oh, it is what it is. And I want to thank you for coming on today's show. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule and popping on and explaining a little bit about what you do. And if people are interested, your Facebook group page link is in the description.
Okay.
People can go over and check out what you do and what Para Retreat is about. And if they want to sign up, they can sign up. And I encourage the women to sign up and go out to these, because they're great events, and
100%.
Learning from other women and doing those investigations and just having a wonderful time and not having to worry about us guys.
Yeah. We always screw something up.
We're going to a prison, so they're still going to be there.
Oh, wow. That's great. There you go.
Yeah.
So again,
We're
thank
doing
you for
West
coming on
Virginia.
today's show. And
thanks for
I look
having
forward
me.
to seeing what you do in the future.
Likewise.
All righty. Well, thanks. Thanks for having me on. You guys have a great day. Try to stay warm.
Yeah, it's very cold here. Anyways, have a
Same.
great rest of the day. Okay.
You too. Thanks.
Oh,
You're back.
yeah, she's back. Yeah. So that was good. I think what we're
Love
gonna
it.
do, we had something set up coming on next. I know the next person on after that has a busy schedule. So let's bring her on now. And then we're gonna bring on the next person, and then we'll do the one that's planned. Okay.
Cool. Sounds good to me.
So let me just get to here. Let me just do this. So the next person we have coming on, and if you guys live under a rock and don't know who this person is, well, what is the saying? What is that saying? If you don't know this person, you must be living under a rock.
Yeah, there it is. There it is.
There it is.
We don't have that on the script.
No,
But no,
definitely not.
absolutely. Absolutely.
I am so looking forward to this woman and speaking with her. She's wonderful. She does many things, and there's a huge amount of bullet points. And obviously, I can't say them all because that will take up the whole 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So let's bring her on. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Patti Negri.
Hi, guys. and all you people living under rocks, come out. It's cold down there.
So you heard what I said. So I just
did.
want to say some of the bullet points with you, just a few of them, because your list is long. You have a lot, and they would take up the whole 10 minutes. So basically, let's see here. You have a national podcast called The Witching Hour.
Mm-hmm.
You're also known for being on Ghost Adventures with
the past 6 years,
famous Zach Baggins, obviously. You're a best-selling author for Old World Magic for the Modern World.
Yeah.
You appeared on Master Chef and America's Got Talent, Wipeout, and Jeff Lewis Flipping Out. You've contributed to over 20 books, and you also have appeared on TV, obviously with the ones that I talked about, and film, and conducting seances with a lot of famous actors. You have just done a lot of things. Like like me and Matt were talking while we were doing this and going, where do we end it? Where did we end it? And so I'm really honored that you came on the show today and take some time out, because I know you're an extremely busy woman. So thank you again for being here. We really appreciate it.
Oh, you are so welcome. Thank you for having me on. And more than anything, thank you for doing this for women in the paranormal. It's about damn time. All us girls, so thank you, especially being two guys doing it. It rocks.
Anytime. And trust me, it is our pleasure. It is absolutely our pleasure. So you don't get the typical first question about what got you into the paranormal. I know you've probably discussed that many, many, many times.
That's okay.
What we're wondering is, at what point did you notice that you had your gifts and your abilities? What was that like? What was the first time you became aware of that?
As is common, like as I just heard with your last guest, young. As long as I could talk, I knew that the spirits on the other side, the so-called imaginary friends, weren't imaginary. The guy under the bed, the guy here, elemental spirits, ghosts. I was obsessed with the dead, but not in a morbid or dark way. I mean, there was the good ones, the bad ones, just like people, the ones that are more scary, less scary. I literally did my first seance. I was 7 or 8 years old in my little suburban hall, went and stuffed towels under the doors, went in the hall where there were no windows, realized I didn't know dead people. And I'm like, Marilyn Monroe, any famous person I knew at 7 or 8, the windowless, lightless room filled with orbs and lights and shadows. And I came up with my first chant at the time. All that witchy stuff is in me too. I'd pick the right herbs out of the garden and hold them in my thing, long before I knew burning in a cauldron. And as I ran screaming out of the room, I was actually jumping up and down going, this is real. And we can kind of control this. And we have this, there's this whole other world out there. And there I've spent my life.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So I guess everybody would probably want to know the answer to this question. What got you involved in ghost adventures?
Almost a fluke. Because I'm a Hollywood girl. I live in Hollywood. I've been in industry. I've been a producer for a long time. I kept the psychic medium stuff very separate because I was very corporate in my work until 2008 when the corporate crash happened and the shows I was producing kind of crashed and burned. And they wanted me to do this reality show. And I don't want to. Oh, I don't want to. Okay, I had no other word. Okay, what's it called? Oh, no one will watch that. Okay. And then I was like, I love this genre. And so I became all of a sudden this girl in Hollywood who was legit, knew what she was doing, and knew camera, how to do everything. And so I just became the person to call. But with and this was starting in 2008, but Ghost Adventures, they were here doing the Haunted Hollywood. I think it was the Haunted Hollywood. And literally the first time they just called me up, it was like they do any city they go to, either the local person who experienced something, the local psychic medium. I'm really involved in Hollywood nonprofits. I work with the Hollywood Arts Council. So they were at the American Legion. And I had not too long ago done a ghost tour there, fundraiser, not like let's put on our min pops, like everybody dress up elegant and my husband's big band and we walk around and say this. But while I was doing that, I met Charlie Chaplin. To me, again, this is what I've done my whole life. And he told me all this stuff and I'm like, went home. But I guess the manager of the club of this American Legion Hall, this beautiful American Legion, the guy I was sitting there talking, invisible guy, was the exact seat that Charlie Chaplin had sat in for years, every Friday night. And he told Zach when they were there, yeah, stuff happens. And this is the seat. And there was some psychic girl here and da-da-da. So they called me up and I would have been that one-off, here's my thing. But I either Zach or the people, we all hit it off because they're just fun guys. I think all of a sudden I became the person to call. Oh, we got Black Dahlia House. Oh, we got the Cecil. Oh, we got the Reseda. Oh, we got Chatsworth. Oh, let's go to Scottsdale. Oh, let's, the museum. Let's go back to the museum. Let's go to the museum again. So it's fun whether they needed a seance of lifting the veil because he's experienced how I can literally lift and close the veil, or just to feel it out. If I know a location, they won't even have me feel it out because he wants it so right on. So it just happened. It just happened. It was never like, hey, I'm Patti, call me up. It's like first thing, oh, okay, I'm going to go do this thing. Charlie. So thank you, Charlie Chaplin.
Wow, that's incredible. Wow. It's amazing. Charlie Chaplin. Holy jumping.
Yeah. And he wasn't dressed in this little costume. He just looked like a regular guy, but I knew who he was.
Wow.
Wow. Before I ask the next question, Patti, I must say I just absolutely love your energy. Not just on here, but on like Ghost Sisters and everything. I love it. Love your energy.
Thanks.
So we just kind of get away from the TV side of it. We're kind of curious. What led you to write your book, Old World Magic for the Modern World? What was your inspiration?
I got tired of saying the same thing over and over again. No, actually, energetically, I work with people. My private client is my private client. What, we have the school now and everything, but I see things. I see energy. I don't have big time for things. I simplify. I saw how out of balance everything was. And I started going, oh my, you have stress. All these any anxiety thing. You need to do this. Spirit would tell me this, like mind, body, spirit, the psychology of that. So I first came up with my 30 seconds to fix anything, which kind of does. And I'm like, all these little tips and tricks. It's literally like a hack of getting through life. You don't have to be in the paranormal world or psychic world or witchy world. It's just like, okay, protect your kids like this. Put a little pinch of salt in the toilet. You could release your anger. What? Yes. Water elements, salt. Yeah. So it's these tiny little hacks, but I get it they're little ghost adventures. There's how to find love. There's health. It's this little baby spell book for anybody, how to keep your house clear, easy, that anybody can do. You don't got to go find out Eye of Newt. And then I spent like literally more time unwriting it than writing it because I wanted it simple. I wanted it to pick up, inspiring, quick read, really fast, minute a chapter. So it's done well. It's been like a bestseller in like 5 countries for the past couple of years.
Wow.
So
wow, that's amazing. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Definitely.
It's just to make people go, I can do that. That's not so scary. There's light. People are powerful. We are amazing. And we forget sometimes. We go through all this crazy, what our world's going through, and we give away our power to other people. We give away our power to fear. We give away our power to really limiting belief systems. Just step back and look and take it back. Wow. That's what the whole book is.
Yeah, and that's great, and that's amazing. So just before we let you go, I want to ask you this question. What advice were you given when you started your career, and what would you say to other people that are just starting theirs?
Okay, I was not given when I started my career, and which I wish I was, and now I give people. You have to dial it up, whatever it is. If I want to be the best brain surgeon out there, certainly I want to get into paranormal. I wanted to be an investigator. I'm a psychic or I'm a medium. I want to get into the public eye. I want to teach. I want to. Again, know what you are doing, be educated. There's nothing harder than this brilliant person or brilliant talented person who's uneducated, doesn't know what they're doing. Learn. It's easy. It's free online. There's a billion ways. Any mystery, first know that. So kind of know what you're doing so you're not going. Don't dive in the deep end until you know how to swim. Start in the shallow end, move out. But the most important part of that is crank it up. Everybody, if you really want to get into it, there's a little dial, like on my microphone, this little dial, 0 to 10, like old movie Spinal Tap. You guys are probably too young. The world mostly has us dialed it down a little to like 7, so you don't wake up the neighbors. Crank it up to 11, wake up the neighbors. If you want to make it in your career, you want to make it, whether it's a grocery tracker, or a TV show, dial it up. And that's the people who get there. That's it.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful advice.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah, definitely. So I definitely want to say thank you for coming on today's show. And it was really, really nice talking with you and getting to know you a little bit better. Again, people, if you want to go in the description, her link is below, and you can go over and follow her page. She has a lot going on that page. There's a lot of stuff going on in that page.
I know.
But definitely go over there and give a follow. And she's just an amazing woman. You can follow her on Instagram as well and stuff like that. And again, I want to say thank you. I will say my goodbyes. I'll let Matt say his goodbyes. But I want to say thank you.
Thank you for having me on. This was really fun. You guys are great. Really.
And you all deserve it. You really do. And like I said, Patti, your energy is inspirational. I mean, it's enlightening. It's energetic. I love every bit of it. And I love the microphone, by the way. I love the old timey microphone. That's awesome. I love it. Absolutely love it. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for doing this. Thank you for women. Thank you, men. Beautiful men. Bye.
Bye. Wow. And you're right. Her energy is infectious. It really is.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm ready. I'm ready for my day.
Yeah, definitely.
Who needs coffee? Who needs coffee?
Definitely. So I think what we'll do is our next guest is here. And then right after our next guest, we will do the one that's planned. That one that was planned earlier.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm not saying much about it because of what's going to happen.
That's fine. That's perfectly fine.
So again, another one I'm very excited to meet and have the
100%.
opportunity to talk to. And I've had the opportunity to talk to her on Messenger several times and just learn about her and just learn who she is. And she's a fabulous person. And ladies and gentlemen, here is Shari Marie. There she is.
Hi.
She's looking all. Are you all done up because of our show?
I'm all done up because it's your show, right? I still have a migraine from last night. I told you about last night, so it's like not much sleep right now.
How did it go?
It went awesome. If for the viewers, it was my birthday. It was my son's 16th birthday. And he's investigated with me so many times, and he wanted to go with his friends, and his friends wanted to go investigating with me and all that. So headed into Salem to a couple of places, and they had a lot of activity. So I'm glad they had a great time.
That's amazing.
A long night.
That's awesome. I'm sure they had what a great mom to take her son his birthday for
whatever, you know what, like you said, whatever the kids want, that's what they get.
Yeah, it's amazing. So I just want to talk about your bullet points of what you've accomplished in this field, which what we've been doing for everybody on today's show. So you used to have your own team. You've been in the field for, I believe it's almost 25 years or a little over 25 years. Yeah. You were also on teams that were associated with TAPS as well.
Associated with TAPS and other teams. Whoever basically was in my area that needed help, I just kind of helped everybody out.
And you were also on Ghost Hunters season 10 and 11. You were also on Ghost Nation season 2, and you're on the new Ghost Hunters reboot, right? Yes. So many, many different things, many great things. I have a good question after Matt's question, because I'm definitely interested to know.
So where did it all begin? Where did the whole paranormal experience for you begin?
Well, my whole life, kind of like everybody else, like my whole life, I've always seen things, heard things, I've seen things moving and all of that, but I was kind of always, I'm going to ignore that. Like it never happened. And then just, and I really didn't get into the field until I moved to a home in Massachusetts. And there was, for the first year that we lived there was nothing. And then all of a sudden there was just so much activity, from lights turning on and off, doors opening and closing, footsteps, talking, things being thrown out of the closet. I mean, just so many things that happened. And, but it wasn't until one particular night where I got home. It was late. I got home. I wasn't drinking, no drugs, nothing. A lot of people ask me this, so I figured so as soon as I laid down to bed, so as soon as my head went down, something grabbed my ankles and, held them down. So I went up to go and see, what it was, and there was nothing there. And then when I did that, they grabbed my wrists and then pushed my wrists down to the bed. And then I picked up my head because I was trying to yell out to my parents down the hallway of, help or whatever. But then they put their hand over my mouth and pushed my head back. And I mean, I could feel the fingers and everything. And as soon as they did that, there was a full body apparition of a doppelganger of my boyfriend at the time, standing at the edge of my bed. And I mean, full solid, he wore exactly what my ex would have worn, the hair, the body, just everything about him. And for a split second, I was wondering, because I just left him to come home. So in my mind, I was like, am I still at his house, or is he here? Like, I just couldn't imagine what was going on. And then so it started walking towards me. As soon as it started walking towards me, the edge of the bed, it kind of like leaned over and was just looking at me, but it didn't have a face. So the face was just like a like if you look outside like at midnight and it's just like a the black sky, just like a I mean, there's just nothing. It was just like a distant look, a black distant look. And I don't know how long he stood there for, no idea. But then he just kind of got up and then walked around, and I can hear his footsteps and the his you know, when people walk, their thighs kind of like that sound. And then I heard that, and then the door opened up by itself. He left, and then I noticed then that he didn't have anything from his knees below. And then the door just shut behind him, and then everything lifted off. So since that night, it was like constantly the lights were on every single night because I wouldn't sleep with the lights off. TV was blasting because I didn't want to hear the footsteps, you know, on the carpet or his thighs. But there was still a lot of activity going on in the house. And I never saw that person again, or whatever that was. I never saw it again. But that was like the main reason why I just really needed to figure out, like, what the hell was that? And is it going to happen again? Is it going to hurt us? My mother and I had a lot of activity going on in the house, and we always had that, just that fear of not knowing what's going to happen. Like, we've never been hurt there, but it was just like that negative feeling that you get. You know, like, is there somebody that's going to push us down the stairs, or you know, like, what's going to happen? I stayed in my car for many, many days. No, I'm sorry, not many days. I stayed in my car when I got home and just waited for my parents to come home. So it's like almost every day I would just wait until, you know, like they would get home because I didn't want to go in the house by myself.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what started the whole thing. And we started researching as much as I could. You know, I had to find any people as I could. That's when I came in contact with Jason and other TAPS members way back then. This is in the 90s. And then, you know, like 2000s, so weird saying these numbers. 2000s, so from talking to him and other teammates and meeting so many other people along the way, I started my own team, and then I worked with other teams, and you know, because I do believe that, you know, there's so much competition, people with their competition things, and you know, and the drama and all that, and I just believe if we, you know, working together, we can teach and we can learn from each other. So that's kind of how I always, you know, so I've worked with so many different people and got so many different ideas, and, you know, what I like to do, what I don't like to do, you know, and whatever. But so that's kind of how I did it throughout the years. And I stopped my team for issues. And that's when I kind of got onto Ghost Hunters. You know, I've been friends with Jason all these years, you know, and so when the time came, you know, he asked me if I wanted to go on, and that's it.
Cool. Very cool. So I'm going to make this a two-part question because I really want to get this question, because we have a lot of questions, but unfortunately we're not going to be able to get to all of them. So how did you, obviously you told us how you got started on Ghost Hunters, but what I want to know, and this is for my own personal, who is,
I'm curious too.
Yeah, who is the jokester and who is the craziest member on your team?
I might have to go with Jason on both of that. On both of those. You know, Dave is very reserved.
I thought it would be Tango.
Yeah, no, he's more reserved. I think, you know, Jay's the one who does more of the jokes, you know, more of like, you know, let me just put them to the back of his, you know, and just all these little things, like, let me put something on the chair so he sits on it, you know, like, I mean, just weird things like that he always does. But I think in the back of our minds, if we start it, he does something way over and we get nervous, like, because we don't know what's going to happen. So, you know, I try to like start some things, you know, and but it never ends up good because he does like way over because he wants to try to like get us back. So so I think we're nervous about that. But I really think it's him. Yeah.
No, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
So let's flip it a little bit. Just we want to know, we hear about, you know, people's favorite places and everything like that. Let's go with, what's the scariest place that you've personally investigated?
Honestly, it's really hard for me to answer that because I feel like I've been in the industry for so long and I've experienced so much that I don't get scared easily. And that's not to say that, you know, I would get scared if there was like a clown with no body that came around the corner and started like attacking me. That's me.
I don't blame you.
Scared. But nothing has ever. The scariest thing for me was when I was in bed that long time ago. But ever since then, everything that I've kind of like, you know, learned and experienced since then, nothing has ever scared me. Nothing has ever harmed me. You know, so I've never encountered that. I do more residential work than going into places. I'd love to go into places and I would love to just go ghost hunting and try to be scared, I guess. But I think more logical first. So if I see something, I might get startled, you know, so like I'll jump, but I'm not going to run. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to like, okay, what is that? What happened? You know, so I really, it's very hard for me. I get more excited, you know, like, oh my God, there's something. Oh my God, that, you know, and I'm asking for things, you know, please touch me, please do this, please throw something across it, you know. So when these things happen, I'm excited and I get excited. I don't get scared of it.
Okay. Yeah, because when we were talking to Satori earlier, we were talking about last week's episode on and I said a little bit of a funny, actually. They were there as
they were
cameos.
better than us. I got it. I heard you. They are awesome. They are absolutely awesome. I love them.
Oh, I wasn't sure if you heard that or not, but it's just funny how you have guests come on the show and they get more than the actual people that are on the show every single week. I just thought it was funny, but
it's just you never know what you're gonna get. Never, like you just never know, you know. And I always, and that's why like people are like, I like this person, I like that, but it doesn't matter who those people are. It's kind of like, you know, you don't know what room you're gonna go into. You know, you don't know what spirits you're gonna run into. And so is that spirit, it's just like living, you know, like you don't know if you're going to get along with somebody. Maybe this person gets along with this person, but this person won't. So maybe they want nothing to do with me because they don't like me. Maybe they like that. You know, I mean, it's just, you know, and I also like the different teams, you know, people get different teams and then you go out because you just never know who's going to, you know, like who better or the way that they do it. You know, that's a good way for them because maybe they don't like our equipment. They liked, you know, how they, you know, their, I mean, so we never know. And it's awesome that they can bring out, you know, new techniques. You know, I don't really know if Dave and Steve are going to hold hands and do that same thing. But,
I'd love to see that.
That would actually be kind of funny. I actually think that would be great to see. Actually, maybe you should get them to do it. So,
I was just gonna say you should pitch that. You should pitch the idea.
I know,
for validation. For validation. That's all it is. For validation.
Or maybe they don't have to hold hands. They can go from. They can turn around and. Back to back,
to butt?
You know what I mean? Or butt to butt, or back to back. I was actually thinking back to back. I was keeping it clean.
Yeah, I know.
But
I mean, given the history, I think the hands would be appropriate because they've been through a lot. Let's be honest. The whole team has. So hand to hand, you should be comfortable with each other.
Well, I thought it was cool when they were trying to decide who was going to go into the gas chamber in last week's show. And I thought that was hilarious. But Shari, we want to thank you for coming on the show today. And I've got to learn a lot more about you over the last couple of weeks because we've talked quite a bit through Messenger. And I just think you're a wonderful person, and
you.
I look
100%.
forward to learning more. I look forward to learning more about you down the road, and I'm going to be watching Discovery Plus and the Ghost Hunters and see what you're doing in that show. And I want you to get away from the screen. I want you going into the actual place and investigating.
Well, let me just say, I do everything the guys do.
Yeah.
They just don't, we're there for at least a week, sometimes 2 weeks, whatever, depending on how long we, wrap things up. It's all in 42 to 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It depends on who does what, to get into that edit, but I do get out there.
I know you do. I know you do. But thank you again for coming on today's show, and
yes, thank you.
It's been a wonderful experience learning a lot about you today, and I hope you have a great rest of the day.
Enjoy Massachusetts.
Yeah. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
See ya.
Okay, so that was amazing. I love talking to her and just listening to the stories. And I know a lot of people love ghost hunters, and I enjoy the show. And even if they don't catch something in the show, I still love it. And I think they're all great investigators. So what we're going to do now, folks, is unfortunately PETA couldn't be with us today. There's a time difference of almost 13 hours. And so what we did was we pre-recorded the show. Mm-hmm. And what I'm going to do is, do I have it? Oh, it's not here. Am I sharing it at your? Yeah. Hold on. You're going to share it at your end, right?
Yeah. It didn't show up. All right.
Yeah. Just hold on. Let me, put the share.
Yep. Got it.
Yeah.
For some reason, it disappeared on me.
So everybody in the waiting room, because we do have people in the waiting room, we will get to you. So just hold on.
Yep.
Did it come up?
I've got it on mine.
Okay, where is it? Oh, there it is. Okay.
Oh, you got it?
I didn't see it. Okay, here we go.
And she agreed.
Well, let me start it.
Where did the name come from?
Okay, so I conned my best friend, who is like my soul sister, so I call her my sis, into doing this with me, and because I've been wanting to do it for years, and she agreed for her. And so when we were coming up with the name, I basically just wrote down a bunch of, different words that, were within the paranormal field. So not just limiting it to paranormal or ghost or spirit or, words like that. And then, I said to her, I want sisters in the title, because that's the core of us doing this. And we just kind of went through a cancellation process of what we liked, and it was also doing research, so doing Google searches, doing YouTube searches to see if anyone else had similar names. And when we got to Ethereal, there wasn't anyone on YouTube called Ethereal Sisters Paranormal. So we're like, we like the sound of that, and that's what we'll pick. And the funny thing is we picked it and all of that, and then we realized that shortened it was ESP, and her and I do that all the time. So, it was kind of a weird way of coming up with it, but
it was almost like it was destiny to have that name with the ESP. That's great. And I always have problems pronouncing it. I don't know why. I just do.
Don't worry, you're not alone.
Ethereal Sisters.
Ethereal? Yes. Or ethereal.
Ethereal. Yes.
Ethereal, as in angelic, kind of.
Yeah, it's I remember the first time I saw you on YouTube, and I think it was probably about 3 months ago. And I reached out to you, and and we started talking, and it was you know, you could tell right away how kind of a person you were, and that's what really drew me to you when we first started talking. But what I would like to know from the both of you, you both can answer on this, what got you into the paranormal?
Oh, you're gonna make me. I just had experiences. I guess like a lot of people that get into the field from a very young age, and I sort of had an insatiable appetite for paranormal, reading, watching, trying to learn as much as I could. And when Peter asked for a new partner, to me that was the next progression in my journey. So to actually go out and investigate and get proof.
I like that answer.
And then you know, because I'd put it up on, you know, a few Facebook groups, because I was pretty much doing it on my own for 6 months. And, you know, like I was just in burnout mode. And I'm just like, I need someone to help me. And Jenn, you know, doesn't live very far from me, and you know, like she's got activity at her house. So my friend and I went over there to investigate, but you know, Jenn had said in the comments of my, you know, advertisement, I suppose, that she was interested. So yeah, and we clicked straight away, and yeah.
Excellent. Now you had experience when you were 15 years old, right?
I did, yes.
Yes.
So that was, it is quite a lengthy story, so I'll just give the very, very brief. Okay. But I do have it, the whole story, like on one of our live streams from, a year ago. But my mum bought an antique mirror from our neighbour's garage sale, and it had been in their family for generations, so it was very, very old. She was drawn to it, so she bought it, and as soon as she bought it in the house, I was drawn to it, and it got put in my room.
Oh, wow.
And I ended up, you know, getting a really negative attachment from it, and it was absolute hell for almost a year. Not just for me personally, but my entire family. And I think after that, I kind of subconsciously blocked a lot of my abilities out, but I was still always very much into all supernatural type stuff.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Interesting. Very interesting.
Well, I have a question for you ladies. You know, you talk about locations, and you talked about, you know, going over to her house and everything. You know, there's not many locations in Australia that are known to be haunted. If there was a team that's going to come down and visit you guys down there, what kind of locations, or what are some of your popular and most haunted?
We have Fremantle Prison that was actually built by convicts, and I think it was operational right up until the maybe late 80s.
Yeah.
Before it closed down.
Yeah.
That's pretty active. What about maybe the Roundhouse? Not so much.
Not so much, but
Fremantle Arts Centre.
Yeah, like we've got some really good ones, but unfortunately, in Australia, it's not just in WA; it's Australia wide. You got to go through, you know, just all this crap just to even get your inquiry through.
Yeah.
And a lot of them, like we've got, I think, 3 insane asylums in the Perth area, but one has been transformed, like Jenn said, into an arts centre. So it's kind of impossible for us to be given access to it. And the other 2 are owned by private corporations. So there's like a million hoops to jump through. and
so they all come under what we call the National Trust. So it's a government body that looks after like heritage listed places. So obviously very old places that they want to preserve for everybody, I guess, to have a look at. But with that preservation in mind, they don't let people go in and investigate for paranormal purposes. So it does really limit where we can get into to investigate, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Well,
so
it
like
definitely sounds like a lot of history. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. But we, you know, when I had, you know, Sean on the team, you know, because you can Google it and it'll come up with the same list on multiple sites. But yeah, they're either through the National Trust or they're, you know, like new people own them and they don't want the haunted associated with it because, you know, they'll be using it as a bed and breakfast or
a wedding venue.
Yeah.
So they don't want the publicity that it's haunted.
Yeah, so it is frustrating. And the paranormal from our experience with Perth is it's almost like this underground type thing. It's not, you know, like over in the States.
No one promotes it here. Like you guys have places where they actually rent it out to paranormal investigation teams all the time to go and investigate. That just doesn't happen here at all.
But with, you know, us, you know, going around to, you know, there's a place called York. It's you know, out in the country. It's about 2.5 hours from us. And we went there because of a location, but because it's a small town, everyone knows everything, right? And so that kind of put us into contact with more places that had activity. So, you know, like, I mean, the entire town is haunted and it's got a lot of history with, you know, the Aboriginals and, you know, they've got a courthouse and jail there that is just like really, really active. And we really want to do Fremantle Prison, but it's very expensive and you get 4 hours.
And it's huge.
Yeah,
Absolutely
it's
huge.
massive. Like, think Waverly Hills.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it definitely sounds like there's a lot, at least a lot of history and a lot of opportunity if you know the right connections. So that just means, though, we have to get you ladies to the States and over our way.
God. I am trying everything. And a friend and I are even like, all right, we need to start a GoFundMe today. Get over it.
I think we should start swimming.
Yeah. She sent me a picture with a boat. 2 women paddling.
Well, you know, sadly, we're over our time right now, our allotted time. But it is wonderful to talk to you, ladies. And I know Brian and I definitely appreciate everything and all the time you take out to talk with us. But we definitely need to be chatting more.
Yes, definitely. We'll definitely get you on a few more shows, I think, out here and get you guys really popular and get you more subscribers and more fans, I guess, right?
Absolutely.
But I want to say thank you for coming on, and I'm going to say my goodbyes. We'll definitely talk soon, and have a wonderful night, okay?
Yeah, thanks for having us on.
Yeah,
thanks for inviting us. It's a pleasure.
It was an honor to be on.
I'm on mute. I was on mute.
So was I.
That was great. It was a little funky, but you know, I don't know what's going on with the internet today, but I think it's the internet. It's just wonky. It's all over the place. So
no clue.
Yeah, I know. I've gone over to Facebook, and Facebook is not moving very, very quickly. So let's get right to our next guest. Again, we're a little bit behind, but that's okay. Don't worry, guys. Everybody's going to be coming up. There was a guest that was supposed to come up next, but she is not here. So what we're going to do is we are going to bring up our next guest, and that is Patti Starr. If she's there. There she is.
Okay, guys, listen. I can't hear you. I can hear you if I put my phone to my ear, but and I'm trying to figure out how to make you go louder. Can you hear
Do
me
you
okay?
Yes, do you have headphones?
Pardon me?
Do you have headphones?
Hold on. Somebody, hold on. Let me see if these
Yeah, no
work. I'm
worries.
so
No worries.
sorry.
No,
I'm
it's
so
okay.
sorry. This
It's
is gonna
okay.
cut
Okay.
into my time. I'm just so sorry.
Yeah.
Let's
No,
see.
that's
Let's
okay.
try. I don't know how to.
You're good.
Okay. I think I might have. Let's see. I've got some little buds somebody left me the other day, and they charged them, so they should be working, but I don't know how to turn them on. Wait a minute. Let's see. No. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to put the phone as close to my face as I can. And maybe, I don't know. I was just I was listening to the other lovely ladies and
Yes.
enjoying what they had to say, but I had my phone, up into my ear. So,
So every time we ask a question, you're going to put the phone to your ear, and then you can answer the question by pulling it away.
okay. All right. Does that sound okay?
That's nothing.
Okay, go ahead.
Nothing wrong with that. I want to talk about the bullet points of your career in the paranormal field. You know what? Honestly, there were so many that we had to stop it at a certain point because it would have taken the whole 10 minutes. But you've done so much in the paranormal field. She used to own Ghost Chasers, which was founded in 1996. She's been in the paranormal field for over 40 years. She was a teacher at Bluegrass Community and Technical College in Lexington, Kentucky, from 2001 to 2008. She is an author of multiple books. And this is a good one right here. In 2006, she was voted in the top 10 for the most popular ghost hunters in America between 2007 and 2012. In 2010, she started the Mystical Paranormal Fair. She was also an owner of a ghost shop called Ghost Hunter Shop. She owned the Mystical Paranormal from 2010 to 2017, and the list is endless. She has done so much in this field. I'm a fan. I'm a big fan of hers. And she's done multiple appearances on I believe some talk shows, and it's just so much that she's done. So we are very honored to have you on the show today. Seriously, we are.
100%.
Oh, thank you so very much. Those are such kind words, and I am totally excited. I can hardly wait to get started.
Well, then let's just start right off the bat. Okay. I'm not going to ask you what got you started in the paranormal field, but I do want to ask, in your bio, you stated that you've learned more from the dead than you have the living. Could you elaborate a little bit more about that?
Oh, yes. Thank you for asking me that question. I don't get asked that very often, but I do. The one thing that I learned very, very quickly when I was younger was that not to be afraid. That was just, and when I answer your questions, please know that it's coming from my experience, from my research, from, the way I grew up, my beliefs. So it's a very one-sided question, of course. So as I answer it, I always ask people if it sounds like something you can maybe believe in or hang on to, do it. But if it sounds ridiculous, just let it go until you find what you feel is out there. So very, very young, when I was very young, I just didn't have a lot of fear of what I would experience. I used to have what I call a shadow person that used to show himself several times to me. I think the last time he showed himself to me and where I actually talked to him was when I was right around 56. I'm 73 now. And so, then I've also just learned from them like why they are here. See, there's so many reasons sometimes why they stay earthbound. It's not just unfinished business, and it's not just being attached to the location. Sometimes it's actually like an assignment. Like there's some children that linger, and they actually will help people that are in their moments of when they cross over, and then they're there to kind of lead them on. I've just absolutely learned so much about more of the positive aspect, where a lot of times I find that I might go into a home and it's like, it's a demon, it's negative, it does this, it does that. But then once I get there and we start answering questions and our EVPs start coming through, we find out that it's totally different. And the fear that the people are feeling, and the translation of what's going on is really based on their fear, instead of the fear that's actually there. And sometimes you think, oh my gosh, I walked down these stairs and I knew it was pure evil at the end of the stairway. But it wasn't pure evil. It was these children that unfortunately had their death had been very traumatic. So all they were doing was walking into the fear of what the spirits were leaving behind, in other words. And it was just getting translated incorrectly, I think. And so a lot of times when I go into an investigation, I always tell my students, if fear starts taking over you and you start getting to the point where you're very uncomfortable, it kind of contaminates the investigation, because you're no longer out ahead of it. You no longer can use the intelligence that you need to actually feel like, what's going on here. And so I said, just back off, leave, come back later. So I always prepare myself right before, 2 or 3 days before an investigation. I say, the words I use is I step out in front of it, and then I tell them what I'm doing, and that I would love for them to cooperate with me, that I'm trying to prove that they exist. I'd love for them to be able to speak to me, show me, so that when I film, that I can get this this evidence. And it's the evidence that I like to present. And I always tell people, if you're interested and you want me to share it, I will share it. I'm not trying to convert. I'm not trying to change somebody's opinion or beliefs or anything like that. I just want to share with you what I've observed. And I guess that's why I've just kept learning more and more and more about this existence with these spirits, how we how we co-activate. That it's a wonderful lesson if you just relax and listen and try not to think that everything out there is like evil and demonic.
100%.
Wow. And I've watched you over the years, and I've read some of your books over the years, and there's one book I want to ask you about. What led you to write the book Ghost Hunting and Beyond in 2001?
Let me see. How did that come about? I'm having okay. All right. I think I remember. I have the Ghost Hunter shop, and in having the Ghost Hunter shop, my husband also had a shop. It was an art gallery type shop, and there was this publisher, and basically, this publisher just published things to do with horses and art and things of that nature. And I just brought up the point that, I'm a ghost hunter. I teach ghost hunting. I've been doing this. At the time, it was like 30 years. And, and I was explaining, and I think they just took a chance on me, and they were like, well, we've never published anything like this, paranormal. So I didn't get to pick the title, because the title that I wanted to pick was, my students were coming to me and they were asking me, when I was teaching at the college, could you do a book? It would be great to come into class and have a book, and we can take it. And so that's why, I was gonna, I wanted the title to be something like Practical Guide for Serious Ghost Hunters, or something like that, but because they were printing it and it was their expense, they chose the title, which was Ghost Hunting and beyond. At first, it was just ghost hunting in Kentucky. That's what it was. And I said, yeah, but I've got so much. I've been to Napa Valley. I've been to Illinois. I've been to all these other states. I've actually ghost hunted in 26 different states all over the United States. And they said, okay, then we'll add the word and beyond. So that's how it got the title, Ghost Hunting in Kentucky and
awesome.
Beyond.
That's great. That's great. Matt?
Oh, my turn now? Okay.
Okay. Sorry.
So, curiosity, you've done a lot in this community, let's be honest. But what we're curious about is what do you feel is the best credit for some of your success? Like, who do you credit or what do you credit for your success?
Oh, and thank you for that. I got very, very, very active in my community. I would join the Art League. I joined the chambers, the women in chambers, like chambers of commerce. I joined the local community theater. I went to the Rotary Line clubs. I would put my name out there to become a speaker. After my books came out, it was very easy for me to contact libraries. Libraries was very dear to me because they would bring me in for children's programming. And because I'm always more of a, say, like a positive ghost hunter, and a lot of my stories don't have the scary, the demons. And I'm not saying that doesn't exist. I'm just saying that's just, part of, my characteristics. And so I was always able to do really good presentation where the parents could come and enjoy it and the children could come and enjoy it. And it wasn't scary, but it was enticing or interesting or fascinating. And those are the kind of words that I would always like to use when I would be describing ghost hunting instead of more of the demon. And please, I'm not judging anybody. I know there's people out there that have encountered these things, and it scares me. I'll watch it and I'll go, ooh, So every once in a while, I enjoy and I appreciate what they do as well. It's just I always tell people, and I've learned this too from the dead. I always feel like if people would just know that we have differences, not right and wrong, but differences. And through those differences, we can still watch and enjoy what they do and learn what they do and listen and support. We don't necessarily have to agree or like it, but we could say, they have to be pretty brave to get in there and do that. For me, I wouldn't do it, and then it goes back to you, to what you like and what your needs are. And it's very important that we honor ourselves. And once you start to honor yourself, you can honor everybody.
100%.
For sure.
100%.
Completely agree. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. I just and I said a couple of weeks ago I was a little bit nervous for one particular guest on the show, and this was the guest because I just find her incredible. I followed her career and I think she's amazing, and I want to say thank you so much for coming on today's show. We really, really I appreciate it, and it's been an honor talking to you and learning just a little bit more about you. So thank you again.
Thank you. And I have enjoyed it. I did get to hear a few of the people a little bit ahead of the time, and I am so honored that they are in this group as well, because when you see other ghost hunters and you listen to what they do and how they proclaim things, you think, I am so proud to be in this field. So everybody else that was on this program, I want to thank them, and I'm just very honored that I'm even mentioned in the same category. Thank you.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Have a wonderful day. Okay.
You too, darling. Bye-bye.
Bye. Wow.
High energy again. I love this. I'm amped up. Let's go investigating after this.
I got the cough. What's going on with the cough? All of a sudden the cough came on. What's going on here?
I'm excited. Let's go investigate now. I'm just
it's very inspirational. You just feel like going out there and just investigating now. Like I just want to go out. I have nothing charged, but I'll just go out with my phone and
let's go
and just investigate. This has been so amazing. And again, people, if you want to go and follow Patti and learn more about her link is in the description below, and you can go give her a follow and check out some of her stuff. She's done some incredible things, and being in the paranormal field for over 40 years.
40 years.
It's just
Yeah.
it's just amazing. So we have there was supposed to be a guest coming on, and she is not here. So what I think we'll do, I know she was going on an investigation tonight, so I think she was pretty short for time. So unfortunately, maybe she'll come on in a little bit. We'll see. But we have two girls right now that I am looking very, very forward
This one
to.
I'm excited for too.
Yeah. What do I say about these girls? These girls are just, if you thought some of the other people had a ball of energy, just wait till you hear these two girls. They're just absolutely incredible. I love them both. And here they are. This is Rosie and Sarah from Portal to the Paranormal. There they are.
I seriously thought that was a picture at first. You guys were just standing there nice and still. That was beautiful.
Well, I've been
That was a
watching them.
screenshot.
I've been watching them a little bit while the show's been going on. They've been sitting in the background in the waiting room for a while, and when I looked at them, I go, okay, what's going to happen when their segment comes up? Because I've been on your show, and it's a little bit. It can get a little bit out there, crazy in a good way, in a great way. But
yeah, we need to network.
Yeah,
Imagine getting
some of the points that I want to say about these girls. One, they have their own podcast called Paranormal Thriller Thursday, which I think is amazing. They have multiple investigations under their belt, and this is what I love about them the most. They host ghost hunts and events, and that's what I love.
Yes, we do.
And I think it's amazing. I've watched some of their events on Facebook. And again, people, you can go in the description below, click on their link, and you can go follow them on their page because they do a lot of lives. And I think they're amazing. So I was so happy when you guys agreed to come on the show today.
Oh, thank you for having us. Yeah, greetings from across the pond.
So let's start right off the bat, ladies. What got you into the field? What was that? What was that motivation?
Do you want to go first?
Okay, I'll go first. I think got me into the field was from a young age. My mum, obviously watching scary movies, my mum knew I was going to be a little weirdo from the start, from the get-go. And obviously just growing up into the age, and I did my first investigation when I was 18, and I caught the paranormal bug. And that was it. I did a mental asylum on the Isle of Wight, and just from there, just anything and everything that I capture, from an orb to a breath on my neck to a touch of my hair, I go absolutely nuts for it, and I love it.
She's chasing that dragon.
I chase that dragon, I slay it down, and I love it.
So they are definitely the women that run towards the noises, not run away from the noises.
We skip into the darkness, don't we?
Did you just hear that? Let's run for it.
And the funny thing about that, sorry, Matt, the funny thing about that is I could actually picture you two skipping into the darkness.
Absolutely. Oh, it's just been absolutely crazy because, like, from the start, this is our year anniversary as well as PTTP.
Yeah, we're a group of 10, aren't we?
Yeah, and
travel all over the UK.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
And we're
Congrats.
just loving life. Loving life,
Yeah.
and just love the woods.
Yeah.
The dark woods. I'll let you go now for your start.
Oh well, I saw a full-on MFG. Oh my goodness me! You can work that one out for yourself.
Yeah, I know what it is. Yeah. I know what it is.
Well, what happened was, it's like 17 years ago. I had my son. He was a couple months old in a Moses basket. I was renting out this bungalow, and the previous tenant was an old lady, and she died. Sun was streaming through the bedroom window. I was just coming to, and I felt something tapping me on my arm. And at the bottom of my bed, as I am looking at you now, was an old lady with big big brown eyes, poking me with her finger, and then she disappeared. She was squatted, just poking me with her finger, and then she was gone. And the fear of seeing her was frightening, but I did not feel that she meant me any harm whatsoever. And I remember scrubbing that bungalow, thinking, "Don't do that again, please don't do that again." And
Okay.
I feel, yeah. So a few things have happened, and then I got the bug.
What I want you to do, or what I would like you to do, you said those initials. You might as well just say them, so everybody knows. Come on.
A full-on MFG is a mother. Come on, help me out. A motherfucking ghost. And when you sat there looking at it, you're like,
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. I love that. I knew what it was, and I wasn't sure if other people knew, but it's just amazing. What I would like to ask you, what was the motivation to start your own podcast?
This one. You started stalking first before me.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a stalker. I watch people, and I'm a bit obsessive as well. And I get into, and I was like, I managed to. There's Richard Lale Lillard. I have to say his name properly, otherwise he'll slaughter me. He's a satanic. He's a lovely guy. He's an actor and things like that. Yeah, I think he was on. Was he on Ghost Adventures as well? Yeah. Yeah. And I had him. I remember looking at his house. He's a really great decorator. He had an apartment, and it's all like this dark stuff with devils on and everything. And then I added him as a friend, and then I stalked his profile, as you do. And I realised that he was into the paranormal and everything. And it was just, we thought we'd do. There was a Thriller Thursday. We thought we'd start talking with our fans and people that come to our events.
We also did like some game nights as well.
Yeah, game nights. And then I said, I messaged Richard Lale Lillard, and I said, "Would you mind coming on and doing a little chat with me?" And he was like, "Yes, darling. Oh, I'd love to." And he was brilliant, and that was it. And he brought out his puppets, and we talked about the paranormal, and it was just that was it. And Andrea Perrin managed to get her.
Daniel Class,
yeah,
Tessa Del Zoppo,
yeah,
even yourself.
And thank you, Brian, for cutting us that big break.
Yeah, Brian was on the show. It was definitely it was a great time. It really was. It was a great time. But like I said, these girls are crazy in a fantastic way, and I love it. And it's just amazing. So,
well, we're definitely gonna have to get you on my show because I mean, I'm the same way. If anybody, I've seen some of my regular audience in here. Yeah, we'll get along just fine on my show. I don't know if it can handle any more chaos. Speaking of your events, ladies, I have to ask, what are they about? Like, what kind of events? Like, what goes into it, and what made you want to start hosting your own events?
So, well,
Dan,
Dan, our big bearded boss man.
Dan Winter.
Dan Winter, he's the boss man who created Portrait of Paranormal. So a year ago this month is our anniversary. We have worked with previous teams before, but us team, there's 10 of us, 4 males, 6 females. The males support us fantastically. Yeah. They they call the muscle men.
Yeah, we call them the muscle.
And so there's every guy in each team, because what we do is we hire an event. So for instance, Manor Farm down the road from us. Perfect 3 locations. You've got a house, you've got a church, and you've got the barn.
16th century, 12th century church.
The energy there. And we have guests come along, so they obviously pay the cover for the hire.
Yeah.
Because it does cost
We
money.
sell tickets to the event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we do 3 groups or 2 groups, depending on how many. We normally get between 20 to 30 guests a night. And they range from the age of 18 up until, well, however old can manage it.
Yeah.
We do have some 16-year-olds that come with their parents.
We set 3 different locations, don't we? Yeah. And we split the guests into teams. We're not allowed to talk about anything.
No,
it's all top secret.
No teams allowed to talk to each other. You're not allowed to share what evidence you've caught.
No, and we do a load
Fair
of
enough.
experiments,
We do
don't
a
we?
load of experiments, loads of equipment. We obviously have our own experiments ourselves that we offer. And then we do a massive big wash up at the end of the night.
Yeah.
So we can collaborate what each team's got.
We have a psychic medium,
We have
don't
psychic
we,
mediums
in the
on
group?
team.
Yeah.
Our resident local weirdo is Sarah.
Yeah,
Casey.
resident weirdo. Oh, Jamie. Hi, Jamie, if you're watching, our resident weirdo. and it's great because we know the history of the place, but we don't tell the guests that. And some of the evidence that comes back from each team all adds up. They get the same names. They get the same devastating things that have happened in that area, like a boy drowning in the pond or something like that. Scary stuff happens. We had one girl with scratches down her neck and things like that.
So they can be, and I always say to our guests, I'd rather them have a complete dead night, excuse the pun, but they then know that we're not petting anything up, that we're not faking nothing. Our equipment is our equipment. We try and debunk everything. And we've had men laying on the floor with those famous cat balls, blowing them to get them to set off, and then the opposite one goes off, and it's just like
we've had them screaming like girls as well, haven't we?
Yeah, we've had we absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's incredible.
Like,
That's incredible.
Trying to get people, obviously different people involved in it.
Yeah, some of them they come in skeptics and they go away believers, don't they? And we make them sign a waiver as well. So any sort of possession, or like if the head starts spinning and green vomit, they're crawling up the wall. Not our problem. No, you sign that waiver.
Past 2 a.m. at night time, we're done.
And we always make sure they say, make sure any spirit people, you must stay in this location. You're not, you don't want it at the end of your bed at the end of the night, do you? Like,
Well, this has been absolutely amazing having you two on. I'm glad you waited this long to come on the show, and I really appreciate you both. I'm hoping to see you in March.
Oh yes,
and that's going to be a lot of fun. And hopefully the restrictions here in Canada are gone once again. And it's just bad. But I want to thank you so much for coming on today's show. You girls are absolutely amazing and a lot of fun.
Thanks a lot.
And a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
And you girls are doing wonderful things, and I can see big things for you down the road. And just keep doing what you do. Just keep doing what you do.
And we'll be in, and I'll definitely be in touch, ladies. Definitely.
Thank you, Matt.
Have a wonderful evening.
You too. Bye.
Ciao now. Bye.
Wow.
More energy.
It's true what you said earlier to some of the other guests. It's just some of these girls or women. I should be saying women, not girls. A lot of them have amazing energy, and you can see the passion they have for the paranormal field. And that's one of the main reasons why we did the show. To show their passion towards the show. And
honestly, you can see it with each of our guests. All of our guests, you can see it. And it's motivating, it's exciting, and it's almost like getting rejuvenated. I mean, I want to get out in the field right now. I want to take, my webcam and just say, let's go. But, obviously we can't. But, our guests, you guys have, and we're not even done yet. We
got one more. And I think there's one guest that was had to leave, unfortunately. But go ahead, Matt. What you're going to say?
Well, I was just going to say, I mean, we can. This is like I saw Scott, also known as Mr. Fedora, on my channel. He even said about a part 2. That, I mean, I'm sure that's going to happen.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
this is just phenomenal. And before we bring our last guest on, I just want to jump in real quick, Brian, and say thank you so much for not just involving me, but getting a lot of this set up. Everybody here has been absolutely phenomenal. The community has been awesome. The guests have been amazing, and the icing on the cake is still yet to come.
And I've had the opportunity to talk to our next guest a couple of times, and she's an amazing woman. She really is, and she's amazing in this field. And there was a method to my madness on how I ordered this, put these women in order, and I wanted her to be last because I think she's absolutely incredible. She's done so much, and I'm happy that she's on the show. And ladies and gentlemen, this is Michelle Rouse.
Hi guys.
Welcome.
I don't even know how to all these wonderful women, all these stories. I'm like over here pumped up, pom-poms, cheering them
Right?
on. And
Yeah.
So you're ready to go out. You're ready to go out and
I am
investigate?
ready. We got over 10 inches of snow out there, but you know what? I got snow boots. I'm ready to go.
Yeah,
Let's
you know, it's
do it.
funny. A couple of weeks ago, we mentioned somebody that was coming on the show that when I called her up and I told her I was doing the show, her first words were, "It's about F time."
Amen to that. Amen to that.
So I knew I had to have you on last because of the fact that what we talked about during that conversation and how important it was for you to have this out here, out
Yes.
in the cyber world, so to speak, and how important that is, and how important it is for women to be out there paranormal investigating as well. And just not about paranormal investigating. There's other things they can be doing in the field as well, like, you know, cryptics, UFOs, and what you do, you know. And I'm just going to name some of them and what you've done, because again, it's a long list of what you've accomplished. You're the founder of Riverside, Iowa Paranormal. You're also a medium. You're one of the hosts in Into the Dark with Riverside, Iowa Paranormal. You're a trance medium. You're a paracounselor. You're an ordained minister. You're a demonologist and an exorcist. You're a psychic advisor. You're the co-founder, and sorry if I get this wrong, but Daughters of Hecate. Is that right?
Daughters of Hecate.
Hecate, okay.
I was wrong too.
And this is the most impressive to me, and it will be to everybody else. You hold the distinction of being the first woman listed on the World Society of Exorcists, which I think is absolutely amazing. I do.
I think I should have my hat off for this. I really do.
It's just like incredible, and I could go on about more stuff you've done, and it's just amazing. And I have to say, there's been a lot of great guests today, and I'm not taking away from any of the guests, but when I knew you were coming on the show, I was super excited, because, and then you said those amazing words, and it really resonated with me, because I will say this, and I will say this to people. This is why I did the show, for people like Michelle,
Absolutely,
and what she said, and I think it's absolutely and utterly important that women be showcased and empowerment, as Rob would like to say, or Robert says to me, and it's just amazing. And I want to really thank you for coming on today's show. I really appreciate it.
I am very humbled to be on this show, and I want to give you two a great shout out, because, you know, we can all go on different podcasts, different shows by ourselves and talk about everything that we do. But if you really listen to every woman that was on this show, it's like we all come together anyways, and there is that para unity. You know, we kind of learn to put our egos off to the side. We don't have it, because I was giddy, you know, listening to Patti Starr. I mean, she just filled my heart as like, I want to be her at that age, you know. Everyone brings something great to the table. And could you imagine having all of us on a show, like a TV show? The producers wouldn't even know what to do, you know. We've got people doing our own stuff,
Ideas.
right? So we all come from a different way, but we always get to the same answer. And when we were talking about the show, I was almost in tears, because I'm like, you know, it doesn't matter if we had a TV show or if we wrote a book or we did this. It was showcasing us as women with we're not just all just mediums and you know, witches and things. We're great paranormal investigators. We know how to use the equipment. We know how to get people involved. And, you know, especially I work with mainly a lot of the dark stuff. You know, I work with a lot of the, you know, police departments, things like that, you know, to help find missing, especially with children. And but that never translates anywhere else. So, it's kind of, thank you. I don't even know how to say thank you. I feel
You know
honored
what?
with you guys for doing it.
Yeah. Before we get to our questions, one thing I thought about, because there is a group page on Facebook, and it's I forget what the page name, but they show all these different missing children.
Yes.
And it's a paranormal. I forget what the group is called, and sorry for the group if they're in the room listening, but I think it's amazing, and I think personally myself, I think that would make an excellent show.
Oh, yes.
Couldn't agree more.
I think so.
It would make an amazing show. But you know what? I want to dive right into the questions. I want to learn so much more about you and Matt.
Well, Michelle, just like many others, you're not gonna get the typical "what got you into the field," but we're gonna kind of twist this a little bit.
Okay.
What actually got you into demonology? There's so many fields in the paranormal, but demonology is your forte.
Yes. So, like everyone says, when they were younger, the experiences they had. And my so-called imaginary friends were the very scary ones. So the way I'm a trans medium, the way I see people is at the moment of their death, or if it's more of the negative. So I normally say I'm not the one that gives the love notes. I can't tell you if grandma says you're baking her cookies correctly. But I will tell you if there was a murder in that home, back like 200 years ago, I will be able to give you the whole gruesome story and actually open things up. So I'm like, we always have to have balance, dark, light. And because I do see more of the darker side, that's kind of where I went, helping people, on that, because it's not just what happens at that point, but it's the aftermath too. Yep. So that's where I started getting involved in all that.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Wow. So me and Matt, when we were putting these questions together the other day on what we were going to be asked, we found this very interesting. What led you to get a degree in spiritual warfare and paranormal ministry, for people that don't know what that is?
Well, spiritual warfare is kind of something we're all in anyways. And what it was more of the studies of it. What are the ins and outs? We can all come up with these amazing big words and sound like we're fully educated, but really what it is, it's spiritual warfare within ourselves and what's outside. People don't understand that our own energy will cause any type of paranormal activity to either be positive or negative. Again, seeing nothing but the dark side and working with some of the god awful truths of places. That's kind of where I continued all my education.
Interesting.
Okay.
Interesting.
That's with a big amen.
Absolutely. I'd stand up, but yeah, I don't want to. No, I'll hurt myself.
I won't be passing out a tray, I promise.
Well, speaking of studies, something else, like Brian said, there's so much that we could talk about. But another key point that we noticed that was kind of like stuck out there was your the study of the effects of satanic abuse from cult activity. Can you describe a little bit about that and what led you to in that direction? I'm obviously, you're the demonologist, but why that?
Actually doing part of the demonology or going to homes where they think they need an exorcism and things like that, was learning that there's a lot more cults out there, and with especially children. Those cults actually, especially on the satanic side, well, no, all cults, let me put it that way. There is a lot of different abuses, not just with the mind, but also, the spirit and the physical. So starting to learn to be able to speak and be able to help those people heal. A lot of people think, and please don't take this the wrong way, but we have to heal spiritually too, not just on the physical side. So, they can go talk to people. We can give medication. We can do all that. But once your spirit is broken and it's all gone, you're not going to be able to fix someone. And so I started really diving into it because I started getting intrigued of how easily people were getting manipulated to join these cults because everybody's looking for something. And right now, more than any time, people are really, really looking for something and whatever they can grasp onto, but they're also bringing their families involved in it. And depending on what it is, the children are normally the ones that end up getting the brunt of it.
Interesting.
Trying to explain it without mentioning too many things.
No, of course.
Definitely some interesting things there. What now? Me and Matt came up with this question because I think we were both thinking along the same lines when we were coming to you when it came to asking questions. So we both kind of came up with this one. What has been the strangest haunted item that you've? How would you say this? What is the strangest haunted item you have seen, and what was attached to it?
Well, actually, a samurai sword.
Okay.
So I do have a lot of haunted objects. I don't have a museum, but we do have undisclosed place that we do keep those because a lot of these do actually have more of a negative attachment than just somebody that loves something. The gentleman who ended up sending it was talking about, it was wanting him to kill himself with it and different things. Well, when I got it, there was still blood on it. And the blood was because there was actually blood rituals that were done with that sword. So the attachment was actually somebody pretty much offering their soul. And so it's pretty negative. It's in a case. It does get a lot of the holy water, the blessings. This one would be one I don't know if I'd ever put in a museum unless we had it really good locked up. Not to, put anything out there, but probably on the same line of Annabelle or above, because it still has the human blood in different areas of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I was expecting, obviously something, but a samurai sword, that's just wow.
Yeah.
So going with the, obviously the demonology side of it, what actually led you to becoming the first woman listed on the Worldwide Society of Exorcists? Like, how did that come about?
Well, it was, like Patti was saying, dialing it up. I wanted to prove something to myself, but I also that was a goal I wanted to get to because I knew what I dealt with on a regular basis. And I wanted to make sure I had the credentials to back me up. And that was it was my personal goal, but also, no offense, guys, in your face, mic drop.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I think something happened with Matt's backstream or whatever you want to get.
Yeah,
green
I see that.
screen. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
see my
actually
green
green.
screen.
It is actually
Yeah,
green.
now it's green. Yeah, it actually is green.
It brings out
No,
it brings out your beautiful features.
Do I have something on my camera? Hold on.
So
no, my chair came unplugged.
Your what?
My chair.
There you go. Oh, there it was. There was. That was
technical.
This has been
been a
one
while.
of those shows. What's funny? This has been one of the shows where we've had all these extremely incredible, awesome women coming on the show, and we're talking about paranormal, and we're talking about all these wonderful things. You're obviously going to have problems with technical stuff because what's behind you or what's beside you is going to be affecting it. So I that's my story and I'm sticking with it. So
I just think it's funny that something happens and all of us, we don't like freak out like some other people. We're just like, oh, okay, well, here, let me fix that.
Yeah.
No idea why it happened. It's just like, okay, like my chair came unplugged, so I lost all my audio, my whatever is going on with my camera. So cool. It's just like, yeah, all right.
There
We're
you go.
used to it.
So
It's paranormal.
The question I'd like to ask you, what would be your best advice to teams and groups to properly ground and protect themselves?
Well, there's different ways they could do it. One, I hug trees. That's my thing. But the ground yourself, if you're going as a team, is the trust of the team. like we were talking, holding hands, things like that. Because what happens, that's that energy base that forms a circle actually forms an energy circle around you, which things will bounce off. If you have that close knit of a team, if it's just like one or two, you can still do that. But I would also suggest, get you any kind of crystals that might help you. After an investigation, my biggest thing is I either bathe or shower with Epsom salt and lavender to get all of it off me.
Okay.
Never go to bed, with what you were wearing at the place, because, a lot of the paranormal, it's energy based, so it's like you're getting that. And especially with a lot of us that have abilities, sensitives and, empathic people, it absorbs like a sponge. So, what I teach a lot is to make sure, you have to find your own. We can all give you an outline of great things to use, but if it's not something that fits with you, it don't matter. It will not work.
Interesting.
Epsom salt showers are amazing. I'm telling you.
Oh yeah.
That
oh yeah. Been there.
Whatever one you want to choose, it don't matter.
Yeah, when I get home from an investigation, I take off all my clothes and put them into the bathroom. So they're all in the bathroom.
Yeah. Yeah, I do too. I mean, you have to, we do certain sprays, we carry crystals, but a lot of people forget after you get home, because my home is my sanctuary. Nothing is allowed in it. There's a boundary. I come to you, I speak to you, I do all that, but nothing in my home. So
yeah, when I go on an investigation, I do that protective bubble. That's what I do before every investigation. I bring out that protective bubble, whether it's through a ball or whether it's through a flower or whatever I do. That's what I do to protect myself from bringing those home. And I do that internally. I don't bring it out. I don't say it around other people that I'm doing this. I just do it internally. And it's something I will never, ever put on film. Never. I will never put that on film. And I'm a strong believer on not putting that stuff on film. So,
I agree 100%, because that is something that's private. And also your intentions are different, because we all open up a different way to make that happen. And I agree, definitely.
Yeah. Well, did you want to say something, Matt?
No, go ahead.
No.
Your thing.
You know what, Michelle? It's been absolutely incredible. Learning about you. And like I said, when we first spoke and you said those words, I knew this was going to be the right woman to have on the show, and to have as the last woman on the show to end the show, because I knew it was going to be an excellent an excellent part of the show. And I really appreciate everything you do in the field.
Well, thank you.
And you're an amazing woman, and I look forward to learning more about you down the road
definitely
as we move on. And I just want to say my thank you for coming on the show today, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day.
Thank you, guys. And I'm sending you guys lots of love and light. And thank you to all the other beautiful women that were on today. It was enjoyable watching them all.
Oh, thank you so much.
Have a wonderful evening.
Bye.
Wow.
That I can only think of one thing with all of our guests, and I know it's stereotypical, so if you've seen my show, you're used to this.
Yeah.
For those of you who haven't, I'm sorry, but let's go stereotypical for a second. These women that we showcase, and really all of them that I've ever met, the light in the darkness. That's how to describe them. 100%. Because I mean, the energy they put off, the attitudes, the motivation, everything. Light in the darkness. I mean, let's go. Like I said, I'm ready to investigate. I don't even want to go to work.
And I've spoken about this many times. And actually, guys, if I don't know if I said this, but in the description below, you can find Michelle's link. You can go over and follow her and learn much more about her. And what she does is just absolutely amazing. Like I said a few times during the show, there were several reasons why I wanted to do this show. And I think I don't even have to say anything. I think you've just seen it for the whole 2.5 hours we've been on. these women are incredible. And from the women that have made their mark in the field, from the women that are going to be making their mark in the field or starting to. And it's just been an incredible time. And to answer Mr. Fedora's question about a part 2, I think we're going to have to do it. I think there is going to be a part 2.
I think we're going to get some backlash if we don't.
Yeah. So I don't know when that will be, because this took a lot of time and effort, and it was a lot. It was a lot, but I'm glad every one of them came on the show. I want to thank them again for coming on the show. Now, you people that were in the room today and shared it. There's been a lot of excellent comments today, and a lot of people sharing it out. We would like to thank you for coming on the show. I've had so many messages from people how wonderful this is, and they're supporting it, and we had people sending us stuff. And I want to show a video that was sent to me a couple of days ago by Marcus from the Minnesota Spirit Hunters. We were trying to decide what kind of intro that we were going to do. And because Maria was on the show today, we wanted to show her video, because she went out and did this on her own and didn't have to do it, and she did. No. So that's why we showed it at the beginning. To end the show, we're going to be showing this video from Marcus. And I want to thank Marcus for sending me this video. He put some work into this, and we appreciate it. But I want to thank everybody that shared out the show, that came to the show. Sorry that I didn't put up the questions, because I was really kind of focusing on the guest. And if people that are watching the replays, if you can share this out as many times as you can, that would be great, because I think this show needs to be watched, and to see how incredible these women are. And there are a lot of incredible women out there. I had a message the other day going, you should have had this person on the show. You should have had that person on the show. Well, you know what? We could have gone for 2 days of having guests on the show. We had to set a limit. So I think with the amount of shares that we got, with the amount of interest, with the amount of questions, with the amount of comments, we will do a second part. And I don't know when that will be, but it will be sometime down the road, and we will have different guests on. And but I want to say my thanks for everybody who came on the show. I want to give my thanks for everybody that watched the show and shared out the show. You're remarkable. And I don't think it's talked about enough. I know Matt talks about it a lot with Para Unity. And you know what, everyone, we're all in this field for one reason, and one reason only. And instead of going after each other all the time with all this drama and stuff like that, just work together. That's it. And I can't stress that enough. And I see it all the time. I try to avoid it. I don't want to be involved in it, but it happens, and I understand that. But if we can all come together like Matt wants us to, with his thing coming up next September, we will be better off as people and as investigators. So that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to say thank you again to everybody. Matt?
And you know what? You're absolutely right, Brian. Guys, I've said this on my show, I don't know how many times. The reason why we did this isn't, just for the women. I mean, yes, they are our guests. We are showcasing them, but none of this would be possible without the support of you guys, both on, the Paracast, on Through the Lens, and even this show. It's all the support of the audience that motivates us and keeps us going. And thank you just isn't enough. Doesn't do it justice. And personally, Brian, I know I've said this a couple of times, but I want to sincerely thank you for including me in this.
Thank you for doing it as well. Thank you.
Para Unity, guys, is an amazing thing, and I don't mean to turn negative, but I've heard people say that Para Unity will not work. Here's why it won't work, and I think our guests have said it perfectly. Ego will destroy Para Unity. And that's not what it's about. It is not about ego. It is about each other and showcasing everybody. What you guys have seen today is just a very small example of true para unity. And let's keep that going. It doesn't matter if they're a big name or just starting out in the field. It's all about, we're all the same.
Yep.
We're all the same.
It's true. So Matt, I'm going to play this video. We'll talk in the back green room after the show. And again, thank you to everybody. And if I don't say this, well, I should say this, and I'm going to say
Go for
this.
it. Go for
if
it.
you go over to Paranormal Consultant and follow him and subscribe to his Facebook and his YouTube, that would be appreciated. And I will also mention Parapost Network. If you have not downloaded this app yet, what are you waiting for? It's a place where you can go and show your evidence, show your videos, show pictures, tell stories, and guess what? And it's said a lot, it's drama free.
And it's free, price wise.
And it's free too. So you can download
That's
it
my
through
favorite. That's one of my
iOS.
favorites.
You can download it through iOS or Android. So without further ado, here is the video from Minnesota Spirit Hunters that Marcus created for us. Everyone, have a fantastic night, and we'll see you soon.